brought to you live via New York City. This is Bombers Game Mike. I'm Paul D, and this afternoon we have ourselves a rubber match between the visiting Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals. And one thing is for sure is that for the most part, that in our experience here today, we're seeing a bit better play from the Cardinals post-trade deadline. They're playing looser. They seem to be playing better in general. They seem to have a little bit more of that mojo back, and it's actually quite impressive to see. And for all that that's worth, it is a very fine situation indeed. However, of course, last night, they ultimately fell to the Rockies 8-6. Matthew Liberatore was anything but good. Indeed, on the very first pitch of the game, he gave up a solo home run to the leadoff man McCarthy, who, might I add, the Cardinals have not really gotten out all weekend. That guy has come in here like a force of nature, and it's been absolutely incredible to watch. Not exactly in my rooting interest, or probably yours, but that is precisely the situation all the same. And it is fascinating to observe. So with that in mind, join the Game Mike roll call. Let me know where y'all are watching or listening from. Let me give you the starting nine for both clubs here this afternoon here in the rubber match. Of course, the Cardinals took game one. They lost yesterday, as we were just discussing. And they have a pretty good shot today. So leading off for the visiting Colorado Rockies is McCarthy. Batting second in center field is Carrick. Batting third at first base is Rumfield. Batting cleanup at DH is Goodman. Batting fifth out in left field is Moniak. Batting seventh at the hot corner is Karros. Batting eighth at second base is Willie Castro, and batting ninth at catcher is Sullivan. The starting nine for the visiting Colorado Rockies, about 2.5 minutes away from scheduled first pitch. Leading off for the Cardinals at second base, the NL rookie sensation J.J. Witherell. Batting second at DH is Ivan Herrera. Batting third at first base is Alec Burleson. Batting fourth out in right field is Jordan Alexander Walker. Batting fifth behind the dish today is Jimmy Crooks. Batting sixth at shortstop is Mason Wynn. Batting seventh in center field is Nate Church. Batting eighth at third base is Jose Fermin. And batting ninth out in left field is Brian Torres. Those are your starting nine for both clubs. Now going today for the Redbirds on the hill, the 26-year-old right-hander Michael McGreevy, 22 games, a 4-9 record this year with a 3.59 ERA and 120 in the third innings pitched, 81 strikeouts in that span, and a whip of 1.20. Had a very nice outing against the Yankees. He ends up getting the no decision, which is something that is not at all unfamiliar to him. He's obviously pitched far better than his 4-9 record would indicate. However, the other part of the equation coming into today is not quite as bright for the individual involved. Michael Lorenzen, the 34-year-old right-hander, in 24 games this year for Colorado, 3-10 with a 6.94 ERA and 107 2/3 innings pitched, 80 strikeouts in that span, and a whip of 1.85. I cannot make this up. He's thrown that 107 1/3, and he's literally given up almost 50 more hits than innings pitched, and opponents are hitting a combined 333 against him. I know, that sounds like a trap. I cannot blame you, because it does sound like a trap. However, that is the story there. So let's take a quick look here as Michael McGreevy makes that long walk out onto the mound along with the rest of St. Louis Cardinals. Today they are wearing their traditional white tops, white bottoms, birds on the bat, red letters and numbers, and their Sunday home navy cap with the bird on the bat on the front emblazoned with the red bill. Alrighty, so join that Game Mike roll call. Let me know y'all watching or listening from Richard Lentz, 1012. Let's go Cards, the Invisible Man. Welcome Paul D, the voice. Hope you're enjoying your trip. It's fine, David. Where am I? I'm right here, Philip. Okay. Let's see here. Eric Boyce, how do you like the new player that was playing yesterday in left field? I only heard of Pereira. I was only listening briefly. Defensive lineman for the Cardinals, Torres in left, Church in center, Walker in right, Ferbine at third, Wynn at short, Weatherald at second, Burleson at first, Jimmy Crook is behind the dish and battery mate to Michael McGreevy, who's on the mound. I think we all understand why Nelson Velasquez had to be designated for assignment. He was just turning into a strikeout machine, and he was not producing enough even when he did make contact. And obviously that's a problem. A very, very serious problem. So Jake McCarthy, who has just been absolutely destroying Cardinal pitching this weekend, is getting ready to get into the box. At that point, it will be a righty-lefty matchup as he slowly goes about his business, y'all. Well, hopefully we are back here. We are going to end up ultimately going and, for the most part, going and doing this a bit more by the seat of our pants than I would definitely have chose to off the bat, because I've had to convert to Wi-Fi here, and I don't think that is a wonderful thing. However, my apologies. Right now, runners are on first and second with a full count here in the top of the first inning. Colorado is threatening. The lefty Rumfield is at the plate. He's hitting .299. Here's the pitch. Hit up the middle. Picked up by McGreevy. He throws the second one. On to first. A double play. A 1-6-3 double play for the first and second outs of the inning. So Rumpel hit it up there to McGreevy on a hop, who managed to field it cleanly. Turn around to Mason Wynn. Get an accurate throw down to second. Mason Wynn steps on second and uses that cannon to get Rumfield going down the line for the first and second outs of the inning. Now, come in, set. The first pitch to Goodman. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Hunter Goodman, no relation to Saul, is hitting .252. He's at cleanup. A big target in trade rumors, but never end up moving him. Runner on third with 2 out. It's a 1-0 count. McGreevy comes set below the belt. Now the 1-0. Swinging strike 3. Swinging strike 2. And the count is 1-1. That kind of day, folks. Anytime you have the bedrock of what you need to operate underneath and you're not consistently ready, it's not a good thing. Now the 1-1. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Goodman gets back into the saddle. Runner on third with 2 out. Top of the first inning, no score. It's a 2-1 count. McGreevy sets below the belt. Crook sets up on the outside corner. The 2-1. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Picked up by Jordan Walker. McCarthy scores easily from third, and Colorado now has a 1-0 lead. In this case, it was basically a four-seam fastball more or less down Broadway and up. That is really the best way I can possibly describe it to you. So 1-0 here. Here's the lefty Moniak. Righty-lefty matchup, the first pitch. Strike, slider on the outer third, just below the knees. A rather favorable call, and nobody's challenging it. The count is 0-1. Mickey Moniak, 277, 19 home runs, 52 RBIs in 79 games, and 885 OPS. Runner leads off first. Infield shifted definitely toward the right. The 0-1. Changeup down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Looking in is McGreevy. He steps off the rubber. He takes a deep breath. Runner leads off first. Setting below the belt at the stretch is McGreevy. The 1-1 offering. Hit down the left field line. Going into foul territory. Giving chase, but it's about 5 rows deep. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. McGreevy gets himself back onto the bump. Now he is facing Moniak here with a 1-2 count. 16 pitches so far. The 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Down, hacking goes Moniak. For the third and final out of the inning. However, the ROX strike first. So after 1/2 inning of play, it is Colorado 1 and the St. Louis Cardinals coming to bat. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Okay, let's see here. Well, first off, thank you all so much for your patience here. I can assure you it is as frustrating to try to produce as it is at times, I am sure, as it can be to listen under these situations. But I appreciate your patience all the same and your generosity of spirit in the matter. JP John Bow with the $20 super. Let's get this started by saying thank you for your calls. JP Joe Bow or JP Joe Hobo. I don't know where they... no, JP Joe... JP John Bow. Got it. Okay, there we go. My apologies. Anytime I'm there in a little pinch trying to figure that out, not so easy for Paul. But I thank you so much. A $20 super is extremely generous, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Okay, let's get this back here. So we await the bottom of the first inning. Due up for the Redbirds, Weatherholt, Herrera, and Burleson. Okay. Getting ready to step into the box is Ivan Herrera. Correction, J.J. Weatherall. Michael Lorenzen, 3-10, a 6.94 ERA, 43 walks against 80 strikeouts, a whip of 1.85, a changeup, a sinker, a four-seamer, a cutter, a curve, a slider, and a sweeper. Pretty standard stuff in the modern age. But he has had not a great year. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch to Weatherall. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Now, Lorenzen winds the 1-0. Strike, four-seam fastball, outer third below the belt. The count is 1-1. Okay. Now, here's the pitch. A changeup upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. He winds the 2-1 pitch. A changeup up and away, ruled a ball. The count is 3-1. Come in one, the 3-1 offering. Strike, sinker on the outside corner. A very generous call not being challenged. I get the feeling had they challenged it, it would have been overturned. But they do not want to gamble this early in the game. It's a full count with nobody on. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Colorado. The 3-2. Foul down the left field line and out of play on the four-seam fastball away. J.J. Wetherell is 15 for 49 this year, 306 with a full count. That's definitely the way to make an impact. Lorenzen winds the 3-2 offering. Ball 4 on the four-seam fastball up and away, so J.J. Wetherell works himself a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the first inning. And here will come Ivan Herrera, defensive lineman for the Rockies, Mickey Moniak, Cole Carrig, Jake McCarthy, left, center, right. Karros at third, Tovar at short, Castro at second, Rumfield at first, Sullivan behind the dish, and battery mate to Michael Lorenzen, who's on the mound. Here comes Ivan Herrera, ready, match up the first pitch. A sinker strike, down Broadway, just about the knees. The count is 0-1. From the stretch is Lorenzen. Runner leads off first, the 0-1. And he pops it sky high into shallow left center field. Underneath it is the shortstop Tovar, and it falls in. He misses the ball in the air, and everybody's safe. And that will most definitely be an E6 there on Tovar. Ezekiel Tovar kept calling for it. The infield was most definitely playing back. The center fielder and left fielder converged, but he called them off. He lost it in the sun, and it fell behind his grasp, behind his head when tracking it going back towards the outfield. So runners on first and second, nobody out. And here comes Alec Burleson. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Now the first pitch, fouled back on the changeup. The count is 0-1. Now the 0-1 offering, squibbed over there towards the Rockies dugout, and the count is 0-2 to Alec Burleson. 11 pitches so far here for Lorenzen. And when your defense is letting you down like that, especially with the kind of year Lorenzen's had, it cannot stir up good thoughts in his mind. Now, the 0-2 to Burley. A sinker well away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2 to the Burley first baseman for St. Louis. Runners lead off first and second. Coming set from the stretch, Lorenzen, the 1-2. Hit foul down the first baseline and out of play on the changeup. The count remains 1-2. So I'd like to thank you all so much for spending part of your Sunday afternoon here with us at Game Mike. It is always a pleasure to be present for that. Lorenzen's looking in. He sets. Now the 1-2 offering. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-2 to Alec Burleson. So a walk and an error have put runners on first and second with nobody out. Lorenzen comes set. Now the 2-2. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Colorado. On deck is Jordan Alexander Walker. Lorenzen sets. The 3-2 pitch. Popped straight up behind the plate and out of play. And so we get to do 3-2 all over again. Lorenzen steps back onto the bump, rubs up the baseball. Infield defense slightly shaded towards right in a modified double play depth. Lorenzen steps on the bump into the box is Burleson. He's come in set. He holds the 3-2 offering. hit down the left field line, and it is slicing foul into the stands. And the count remains 3-2. The burly one gets back into the box. Runners lead. Looking in is Lorenzen. Now the 3-2. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball upstairs. Correction, sinker upstairs. And the count is still 3-2. So he's definitely giving him a run for the money here. Of that, there should be zero doubt whatsoever. And Burley goes and puts a bit more pine tar on his bat. Getting back into the box. Runners lead off first and second. Looking in is Lorenzen. He sets above the belt. Now the 3-2. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by the second baseman. He throws the second one back to first. Not in time. So they will get the runner Ivan Herrera on the force at second. Alec Burleson manages to reach first on the fielder's choice, and naturally J.J. Weatherup moves from second to third on the play. So the Cardinals have runners at the corner with one out for Jordan Alexander Walker. And in that case, it was actually a pretty good play by the second baseman there, and Burley was definitely not going to allow himself to get doubled up. He was hauling that frame as fast as he could do it. Now here is Jordan Walker. Next pitch will be Lorenzen's 20th. 283, 23 home runs, 82 RBIs in 113 games. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch to Walker. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Scoring easily from third is Weatherup. Moving over to third is... No, there's no runner to third, and it is a station-to-station run and RBI on the single to right by Jordan Walker. And the game is now all tied at 1 with runners on first and second and one out. It seemed to be a sinker that was supposed to be outside, ended up going up and in about belt high, an inside-out swing to right, which allowed the run to score from third. So an RBI single for Jordan Walker. We are all tied at 1. Now, here is Jimmy Crooks. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Runners lead off first and second. The pitch. Swinging strike on the curveball, down and in. Swinging over the top of that one is Jimmy Crooks. The count is 0-1. Jimmy Crooks currently is hitting 190 with 4 home runs, 11 RBIs in 39 games, a 614 OPS. However, that average has ticked up over the last week by almost 15 entire points. Let's see if he's actually trending in a desirable direction. That much is not yet clear. Now he comes set, the 0-1. A changeup down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. And Jeff Coleman with the $1 super. Thank you so much, Jeff. Now Lorenzen sets the 1-1. Swinging strike on the changeup inside. Swinging underneath that one was Jimmy Crooks. The count is 1-2. Now Lorenzen sets the offering to Crooks. Hit out there into left field, going over is Moniak towards the corner. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Burleson goes retreating back towards second. Obviously, Walker remains there at first. So a fly out to left there by Jimmy Crooks for the second out. And here is Mason Wynn, the 6-hitter today. The right-handed hitting shortstop for St. Louis. Right now in 109 games, he's hitting .239, 4 home runs, 46 RBIs, a 636 OPS. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. Next pitch is Lorenzen's 25th. He comes set. The first pitch. A slider away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Back into the saddle is Wynn. Runner leads off first and second. Lorenzen from the stretch. He deals. Strike, sinker down Broadway, 95 miles an hour of the right hand of Lorenzen. The count is 1-1. He sets at the belt. The 1-1 pitch. And he squibs that over towards the Cardinal on deck circle on the changeup, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. And right now, as it seems to be almost every day in the St. Louis area, we are under an extreme heat warning. So, to some extent, I feel for these guys. Coming sets Lorenzen, the 1-2 offering. Hit to the left side, picked up there at third. He tosses to second, and they get the force of Walker just in time for the third and final out of the inning. However, 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left on. After 1 full inning of play, it is all tied at 1 going to the top of the second inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. So first and foremost, I want to thank you all so much for your patience in all of this. I have been trying to quietly correct some necessary things here, and it should be a bit more normal from this point in the stream, assuming, the internet doesn't just cut me off at the knees or something. So it took me a while to get the game onto the proper monitor as I was trying to call it from another screen. It was a real Three Stooges job, despite the fact there's only one person. So I hope you all are doing well today. Heather, what's up, Paul? Not much, Heather. How are you? Good to see you. All right. Let's see. All right. Checking in from one of the few places on earth that you don't need hot water in the shower. Great to see you, Raja. And for that matter, it's good to see everybody. So we await the top of the second inning. Due up for the Rockies is Karros, Castro, and Sullivan. 6, 7, and 8 in their order. Michael McGreevy will be heading out there for his second frame. He did not have a brilliant first frame, but he did manage to mitigate the damage, especially with that double play ball, I should say. All right, we're back here for the top of the second inning. McGreevy back out onto the bump. He will face the third baseman, Karros. The 24-year-old right-handing Kyle Karros. 329 at-bats this year, a 2.67 ERA, 9 home runs. Should be 2.67 average, 9 home runs, 42 RBIs. Righty-righty matchup. Looking in is McGreevy. Now the first pitch. A sweeper well inside and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. McGreevy looks into Crooks. Coming full wind. He deals. Strike, sweeper down Broadway. 81 miles per hour to the right hand of McGreevy. The count is 1-1. So top of the second inning, it's all tied at 1. Next pitch is McGreevy's 20th. And they keep distracting us with in the dugout interviews that are so wildly inappropriate and uninteresting compared to what should be focused on with the camera on the game. And now one of the trainers is going out there to look at Jimmy Crooks. It looks like it was a bit of a mechanical issue. And if I gripe on this a lot about these mid-game interviews, and the fact that they actually give camera attention to them, despite the fact the thing that everybody there is to see is the game, and the fact that sometimes it's so poorly directed that ultimately it ends up missing action. I mean, I got to tell you, you guys heard me gripe about this, but it's for good reason. You have to expect a lot better from Cardinals.tv. The first pitch to Karros. Foul down the left field line and out of play on the sinker in. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm glad you understand there, Anthony. It's just, who cares? Really, it's really what it comes down to. What are they going to possibly tell you of interest? Now, the 1-2 offering. A curveball in the dirt away there to the righty Karros. The count is even at 2-2. McGreevy looks in. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the second inning, all tied at 1. He winds the 2-2. A sinker away, ruled a ball. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Karros gets back into the saddle. McGreevy looks into Crooks, who sets up on the outer third. He winds and deals. There's a fly ball out to center field. Underneath it is Church with the shades down for the first out of the inning. So he gets Karros to fly out 8 for the first out in the top of the second inning. And here comes Willie Castro, the second baseman. Left-hand hitting here. 99 games, 263, 13 home runs, 48 RBIs. Nobody on with 1 out. Coming winds McGreevy, the first pitch. Castro. Strike. Four-seam fastball, inner third below the belt. The count is 0-1. Now the 0-1. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Well, thank you, Zeke. McGreevy winds the 1-1. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and in. The count is 1-2. He swung over that changeup, did Willie Castro. And so now the question really is here for McGreevy, and this is the thing that he does occasionally have trouble with, is what can he go to genuinely put these guys away in terms of the swing and miss pitch? A lot of times that's the sweeper. Some days he has it, some days he doesn't. He winds the 1-2. Fly ball out there into center field, going back a few steps there. Church catches it on a line for the second out of the inning. So like Karros before him, Castro flies out 8. Now here for the second out. Nobody on. All tied at 1, top of the second inning. You're very welcome, Zeke. You are very welcome. Now here is the lefty hitting Sullivan. Here's the pitch. Hit out there into left center field. Underneath it is Church, who gets all 3 putouts of the inning for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. After 1.5 innings of play, we are all tied at 1. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Let's go back to the chat. Okay. All right, let's see here. Okay. Jeff Coleman, at work. Busy AF, y'all. Catch up mid-game. Which is to say, go visit Jeff at Panera Bread at Mid-Rivers Mall off of Veterans Memorial Parkway and I-70 in St. Peters. A friend of the show indeed. Harold Houseman has entered the chat. Good to see you, Heather. And Brother Joe, it's good to see you as well. I saw you mention something about Penn Station. I haven't been able to follow the chat closely enough due to the technical issues I've been trying to overcome to try quite to understand what you were mentioning about it. But it too is going under real renovation at the moment, I can tell you that. So we await the bottom of the second inning. Due up for the Redbirds, Church, Fermin, and Torres. And how apropos that the man who had the 3 putouts in the top of the second inning is also leading off the bottom of the second inning. He's hitting .234 right now with a .642 OPS. He'll be followed by Jose Fermin and Brian Torres. 7, 8, 9 in the Redbird order. We are all tied at 1. .29 first pitching income. Yeah, it's not good. Lorenzen has a lot of, has lost a lot of bullets there, as it were. All right, we're back here for the bottom of the second inning. Stepping up to the box is going to be Nate Church. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. All tied at 1 here for the rubber match. Sullivan gets there back behind the plate. Nate Church is just swinging in that on-deck circle, loosening himself up for his first plate appearance today. A decent crowd at Busch, but you have to know it's also in some ways very sparse because it is oppressively hot out there, in addition to being humid. I'm not sure that I could do a game like that. Not really. Unless they were the right kind of seats, if you follow my thinking. Into the box is Church. Lorenzen looks in there to Sullivan, and the first pitch. A four-seam fastball away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Nobody on, nobody out. The 1-0 offering. A curveball up and away and ruled a strike. And the count is 1-1. Oh boy. I don't know if I'm on board with that one, but I'm not the one who can challenge. Now the pitch from Lorenzen. Hit out there into to the left side. Picked up by, and they're calling it a foul ball. What is going on here? The score bug is currently showing Nate Church at first, but the ball fell, as far as I could tell, in fair territory. Let's see what happened here. It did. It definitely did in fair territory. Nate Church went down the line. The third base umpire, I understand, he was mentioning, he signaled that the ball had not been caught. So an infield single there for Nate Church. The first pitch of Fairmean. Swinging strike on the sinker upstairs. The count is 0-1. I couldn't figure out what he was signaling there at the moment, but it didn't really seem to add up initially. Just kind of the way the optics of it were. Now, runner on first with nobody out. Lorenzen looks over there, but comes set. Church leads. The 0-1 to Fairmean. A four-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 1-1. Runner leads off first. It's a 1-1 count. Bottom of the second inning, 1-1. Lorenzen throws over to first. Back in time with the head first slide is Nate Church. The count remains 1-1. Jose Fairmean last night, of course, had a very fine game. It didn't end up contributing to a positive outcome, but he did quite well for himself. Lorenzen is back onto the rubber. Leading off first is Church. Lorenzen sets above the belt and deals. Foul down the first baseline and out of play on the sinker in. The count is 1-2. Fairmean gets back into the saddle. The camera is very heavily focused on the large lead there by Nate Church. Thrown back over to first, back in time, is Nate Church. So clearly here, there is some kind of anticipation that Nate Church might take off. And he has stolen 7 bags this year in 11 attempts, so he's about 63.6%. And time is called. So we wait a little longer for the 1-2 offering to Jose Fairmean. And that is something we have been seeing a bit more of the Cardinals lately, is stealing, better base running in general. Common sets Lorenzen. He's holding the 1-2. A changeup well upstairs and out of the zone. The count is even at 2-2. And a large animal balloon, like you would get at the old circus, has blown out onto the field, which has delayed us a couple of seconds. So the left fielder, Moniak, hands it off to some of the ground crew, who goes and sprints it out of play. And they give it back to the little kid who lost it. That's wonderful stuff. It's a distraction, but it's also really cool. Runner leads off first. Fairmean's back into the box. It's a 2-2 count. Lorenzen comes set above the belt. And the 2-2. Foul down the right field line and out of play on the changeup upstairs. The count remains 2-2. Do the Astros have a better record than us? Actually, I think they might. Have to take a look at the standings. Runner leads. It's a 2-2 count. Lorenzen sets above the belt. The pitch. A sinker away, ruled a ball. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. So it's a full count here. Jose Fairmean has been doing his job. Of that, there is absolutely no question. I'll answer your question in a moment. There goes the runner. He goes right back there, picked up on the line there by Lorenzen, who throws back to first, and he easily doubles up Nate Church, who was off on the hit, right on contact, for the rather unusual 1-3 double play for the first and second outs of the inning. Jose Fermin put it right back up there. It was caught by Lorenzen on the line. I imagine how fast that thing was going at him. And then since Nate Church was basically standing on second, all he had to do was throw over to first and easily double him up. So nobody on with 2 out following the 1-3 double play here in the bottom of the second inning. Well, to answer your question, Heather, Houston is 60-58, whereas the Cardinals, and the first pitch to Torres, a curveball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Whereas the Cardinals are 58-59. So they're one better in the loss column, two better in the win. The pitch, sinker, strike, outer third below the belt. The count is 1-1. Lorenzen definitely enjoyed that pitcher's best friend there earlier, and he put his own effort to it. Now, the 1-1 to Torres. Hit down the left field line and out of play on the sinker away. The count is 1-2. That was the 41st pitch for Lorenzen. Infield defense playing way back and shaded towards right with the lefty Torres. The 1-2 offering. A changeup down and in and clear out of the zone. The count is even at 2-2. Oh, that's a nice breeze. On deck for the Redbirds, should they get there, is J.J. Witherell back at the top of the order, but there's nobody on with 2 outs. A 2-2 count, bottom of the second inning. It's a 1-1 game. The 2-2 pitch. A changeup up and away, and clearly a ball. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brian Torres. And there is J.J. Witherell, who walked earlier. The 3-2 hit on up the middle and into center field for a 2-out base hit off the bat there of Brian Torres. And the Cardinals have a runner on first with 2 out here at the bottom of the second inning. Once again, that was a ball that was right back up to Lorenzen on the mound. However, this time it was lower, and it also got a hop on the grass in front of the mound and then found a magical hole on the right side of the infield where Tovar and Castro, even in the shift, could not get to it. And now here comes J.J. Witherell with a runner on first and 2 out. Righty-lefty matchup. Walked in his first plate appearance. On deck is Herrera, the first pitch. A sinker called strike on the inner third at the belt. The count is 0-1. Home plate umpire is giving a lot of high strikes today. And at some point, this is going to have to result in some ABS challenging. From the stretch is Lorenzen, the 0-1. A changeup in the dirt, blocked very well there by Goodman. Staying there at first is Brian Torres, and the count is 1-1. It looks miserable on that field today. Lorenzen sets the 1-1 offering. Foul down the third base side, now to play. So, Witherell has himself in the hold of Lorenzen here, 1-2. With Torres leading off first with 2 out. Bottom of the second inning, we're all tied at 1. Witherell looking in, coming sets Lorenzen. And deals. Sinker inside, ruled a ball. It was just below the belt. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So very good take there by Witherell. But given the generosity of the strike zone today, I was almost ready to see him get rung up over it. Common sets Lorenzen. Runner leads off first with 2 out. Now the 2-2. Hit to the right side, and it is into the stands. It was going straight down the right field line, and then about 2/3 of the way towards the pole, it then began to slice right and into the stands. The count remains 2-2. Well, apparently, I appear to be back, according to Justin Beasley here. And I hope indeed that is true. So there's a runner on first with one out for Colorado in the top of the third inning. Once again, I believe in the person of McCarthy. You know, McCarthy's hitting so well right now, the last couple of days coming into today, that if you had Bob Gibson there, we both know where that ball would be going. Anybody hitting that well should never be that comfortable in the box. That might be an old school take here, but just saying. Now, the first pitch to Carrig. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Runner leads. Coming set below the belt. Throwing over there is McGreevy. Back in time is McCarthy. The count is 1-0. Leading off first is McCarthy. Coming set below the belt is McGreevy. The 1-0. Strike. Four-seam fastball on the outside corner. Ruled a strike, and it's an ABS challenge there by Carrig, and I think he's going to win it. So let's stand by here and see the ABS. And the call is overturned. It is indeed a ball, and it missed by 0.7 inches. So Colorado retains that challenge. The strike zone has been so generous overall, I'm surprised there has not been more. McCarthy leads off first. Looking in there towards Crooks is McGreevy. Top of the third inning, all tied at 1. McGreevy sets. McGreevy deals. Foul down the first base side. Now to play on the cutter in. The count is 2-1. Okay. We are back to the action. Back into the box is Carrig. It's a 2-1 count with one out. Top of the third inning, all tied at 1. And this game is moving at an infuriatingly short pace of play. It seems like everything has gotten in the way here so far. Runner leads off first. It's a 2-1 count. Coming sets McGreevy. He deals to Carrig. A four-seam fastball up and in. Out of the zone. Ruled a ball. The count is 3-1. Now, coming set is McGreevy. The 3-1. Foul down the first base side. Now to play on the changeup down Broadway. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It looks like a few of the prospects that were acquired over the trade deadline have had some good fortune in their new minor league homes in the Cardinals system. McCarthy leads off first. Coming sets McGreevy. And the pitch. There he goes. Here comes the throw. And it is held onto by Jimmy Crooks because it's indeed ball 4. And that puts runners on first and second with one out here in the top of the third inning. Now, here is the lefty Rumfield, 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball out into right field. Underneath it is Jordan Walker. He makes the catch. He throws on in. Amazingly, McCarthy staying right there at second. Jordan Walker actually put a very good throw down there to third. A little wide, but on a hop. He wasn't being challenged there by McCarthy going from second to third. And that right there, that fly out 9 for the second out, is the ultimate respect for Jordan Walker's arm. Everybody knows, even McCarthy, who flies like the wind, they're not going to try it. Not now, not here. So runners on first and second with 2 out. Stepping in the box is the designated hitter this afternoon, usual everyday catcher, Hunter Goodman. 254, 33 home runs, 68 RBIs. He is 1 for 1. Righty-righty matchup. Runners on first and second with 2 out. And faking back there on the pickoff move toward McCarthy towards second was McGreevy. And so we wait the first pitch. Now the pitch. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball, up and in. The count is 0-1. Infield playing back and to the left side here with Goodman. McGreevy sets the 0-1. Sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. McGreevy gets back onto the bump. 45 pitches here so far. It's a 1-1 count to Goodman. Runners lead off first and second. The pitch. Chop foul down the third base side and out of play. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stepping out of the box briefly, there is Goodman, who gets back into the saddle. 1 for 1 with an RBI single this afternoon. Putting up a very good year offensively. Cummins sets McGreevy. Now the 1-2. There's a fly ball into right center field. Going over to his left is Church. He makes the catch for the final out of the inning. No runs and 2 left on. We go to the bottom of the third inning. All tied at 1. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. Alrighty. There we go. So that is the story there at present, folks. McGreevy is doing his thing right now, no question. Doing just fine. Managing to keep him in the game, and that's really all you can ask for. So due up for the Redbirds here in the bottom of the third inning. We have Herrera, Burleson, and Jordan Walker. Herrera's 1 for 1, Burleson's 0 for 1, and Jordan Walker is also 1 for 1 with a run scored. Not a terrible afternoon by any measure, I would say. So we're nearly here back for the bottom of the third inning. Lorenzen has been better than he has been recently. Of that, I can make no other statement. Granted, almost anything in his case would have been indeed an improvement. But that's really just kind of the story there. And, you know, something that is interesting. I can't remember exactly what year it happened. But there was a time that when you paid for a streaming service, that regardless of the tier, it dispensed with all ads. Now, granted, that's changed a great deal, and Major League Baseball used to do that as well, and they've obviously dispensed with it. Now, the first pitch to Ivan Herrera, hit to the left side and into left field. It hits the in left field, bounces out there to Moniak, coming around first, going to second is Herrera. Here's the throw, here's the play. And he is safe because Tovar cannot hold on to the ball from the throw from Moniak from left. And Ivan Herrera has himself a leadoff double here in the bottom of the third inning off of Michael Lorenzen. In that case, that was a sinker that was just middle. It found a hole. Well, actually didn't find a hole. The third baseman there could not get to it fast enough. It was hit very well off the bat. The throw actually beat Herrera by a ton. He attempted a hook slide. Had Tovar actually been able to hold on to the baseball, Herrera most certainly would have been out. But that is not the way it turned out. Now there's a runner on second with nobody out. Here is Alec Burleson. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Come in, set the first pitch. A cutter away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Now Lorenzen sets. He deals. A sinker well upstairs and out of the zone. Sullivan saved that one from going to the netting behind home plate at Busch. The count is 2-0. Alec is 0 for 1, but he is on a very strong set of streaks here at the moment. The 2-0. A changeup up and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-0. Herrera leads off second. We're all tied at 1 in the bottom of the third. The 3-0. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play on the sinker. Middle. Most major league hitters today will just let that come and take it, just not to let the pitcher back into the at-bat. So clearly Burleson saw something there that he thought was hittable. He just didn't hit it well. Lorenzen sets at the belt. He deals. Ball 4 on the sinker down and in. So a walk by the burly first baseman for St. Louis, and the Cardinals have runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third inning. We are all tied at 1. Now here is Jordan Walker. 1 for 1 with a run scored. Runners lead from the stretch is Lorenzen. The first pitch. There's a fly ball out there into center field. Going back is the center fielder in front of the center field wall. He makes the catch on the track. Tagging going to third and tagging from first and going to second. Both runners advance on the sacrifice fly. So the long fly ball out into center field off the bat of Jordan Walker results in 2 sacrifice fly tags up, both of which are safe, and now runners are on second and third with 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Once again, this is another example of how the Cardinals have actually improved their base running of late. They're not overly aggressive, but they're smart and they recognize their opportunities to exploit. And clearly there is some kind of inborn need here to put that kind of pressure on opposing defenses for them. And when it works brilliantly. And when it fails terribly. But they're getting smarter at it than they were earlier in the year. And that is a point of development that I think is extremely important here. Now here is Jimmy Crooks, 0 for 1 with a flyout, 188, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs in 39 games, a 608 OPS. Runners on second and third with 1 out, all tied at 1, bottom of the third. Coming sets Lorenzen. And the first pitch. Foul tipped on the changeup down Broadway. The count is 0-1. Now, the infield defense for the ROX is basically playing even with the bag, so on a ground ball right to one of them, they could cut down Herrera on the throw to the plate, considering there's no force. A tag would need be applied. It's an 0-1 count. Righty-lefty matchup. Coming set is Lorenzen. He deals. A changeup well down and away and out of the zone. 1-1. 1-1. But it's more than just small ball, guys. It's also smart ball in this case. Now he comes, set Lorenzen from the stretch. And deals. Swinging strike on the changeup downstairs. Swinging over the top of that one was Jimmy Crooks. The count is 1-2. That was the 62nd pitch here from Michael Lorenzen, who's definitely feeling this Missouri heat right now. He sets at the belt. It's a 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out into medium right field. Underneath it is the right fielder. Coming in, tagging from third is Herrera. The throw is cut off, and he is safe at home. And that will give the Cardinals a 2-1 lead on the sacrifice fly and RBI off the bat of Jimmy Crooks. And the Cardinals take a 2-1 lead. Going from second to third on the play was also Alec Burleson. Once again, smart, advantageous base running from the St. Louis Cardinals, and it is wonderful to see. Now here is Mason Wynn, the righty hitting shortstop for St. Louis. Runner on third with 2 out. Righty-righty matchup. And stepping off the rubber there briefly was Lorenzen. Trying to get back on the same page as Sullivan. He's from the stretch. The first pitch to Wynn. A slider upstairs ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. Mason Wynn is 0 for 1. Grounded into a fielder's choice. The 1-0 pitch. A sinker away, just misses the outside corner. That's ruled a ball. The count is 2-0. Runner leads off third. Coming set is Lorenzen. And deals. Strike, sinker, middle there. 94 miles an hour, the right hand of Lorenzen. Count is 2-1. Next pitch is going to be Lorenzen's 67th in 2 2/3 innings of work. He sets and deals. There's a fly ball out there in the left center field. Going back is the center fielder. He's looking up, and it's off the base of the wall in left center field. Scoring easily from third is Burleson, and that will give the Cardinals a 3-1 lead on the 2-out RBI double off the bat of Mason Wynn. And they are now ahead with a 3-2 lead. And I'm looking at the pitch here on replay. I'm guessing that was a sinker on the inner third about thigh high. And Mason Wynn did absolutely everything you could to actually get that thing out of the park. He just happened to be hitting one of the deepest parts of it in left center field. Hits the bottom of the National Rent-A-Car sign. He's at second with 2 out. Now the first pitch to Nate Church. Strike, 4-seam fastball outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. Nate Church 1 for 1 with a single. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Runner on second with 2 out. Lorenzen's coming set, and he deals. Foul down the third base side and out of play, and the count is 0-2. And Jeff Coleman with the $1 supers. My apologies, Jeff, for both of those ones I missed there. I've just been so inundated trying to keep this thing up on its feet. Now the 0-2 to Church. Swinging strike 3 on the changeup away for the final out of the inning. However, the Cardinals, they put 2 across and they leave 1 on. After 3 full innings of play, it is 3-1 Cardinals going to the top of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. All right, now I got to catch up in the chat. Okay. Yes, we will, Heather. Yes, we will. Harold Houseman, woo! Yeah, right now, the Cardinals are really doing absolutely everything they should be doing. Now, what am I saying about... Why am I saying it? Why am I putting it quite that way? Is because they're doing today and in this recent stretch of theirs, which even can go back somewhat even to Toronto last weekend, their game has tightened up. In a lot of fundamental respects, they've been playing smarter. They've been doing better jobs capitalizing on their opportunities. Their starting pitching, with the exception of Matthew Liberatore yesterday, has otherwise been fantastic for the most part. The bullpen, well, we know the story there. But in general, they're playing like a much looser club. And who could blame them? Imagine having it hung over your head for several weeks that you're known about being in this trade room or in that trade room, most of which is just absolute hogwash that's just made up or speculated on some blog, and then somebody runs off with it. A large game of telephone ensues, and then it turns into an actual quote-unquote trade rumor, and that everybody but Walker or Weatherholt was available. If I were in their situation, especially as really young guys, that would definitely tighten my game up. And not in a good way. That would make me tense. I would want to know and control my future, and in that case, they can't. And right now, with things settled back in, they look a lot better. And that is not just what I think. It was Mrs. Game Mike's first observation, and she was completely right. Has been ever since, and it's been really just a very poignant observation. Now, McGreevy winds the first pitch. Popped straight on up into the infield. Calling for it is Wynn. He makes the catch. An old can of corn, a home run in a silo for the first out of the inning. That was the 48th pitch for McGreevy in 3 1/3 with only 1 earned run. Yeah, even Stanek is showing up. Now, here is Karros, the right-handed third baseman, the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball whispered over the back of the outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. McGreevy is looking in. He winds and deals. A sinker just low on the inner third ruled a ball. Came in at 89 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. 50 pitches right there for McGreevy. Nobody on with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning. 3-1 Cardinals. Come in, wind, and he deals. A curveball downstairs. Laying off that one by Karros. And the count is 2-1. Yeah, he has not been as bad as it could seem. Oh. Well, I'll answer that question in a moment, Heather. McGreevy looks in, winds, offers. Hit to the left side and into left field through the hole between short and third for a 1-out single for Karros. And the Rockies have a runner on first with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. This is what I would say about this, Heather. They would certainly be a much better team, but it's very hard to speculate as if they'd be as good as the Brewers, because the Brewers are kind of in a win-now position in a way that the Cardinals, by any fair estimate, are not. But they are moving in that direction. Here's Willie Castro, the left-hand hitting second baseman, 0 for 1 with a lineout. Runner on first. From the stretches, McGreevy, the first pitch to Castro. Foul down the third base side, and now to play. The count is 0-1. Back into the box is Castro. Come in set is McGreevy. Runner leads off first with 1 out. The 0-1. A four-seam fastball up and away. It's ruled a ball 90 miles an hour. The right hand of McGreevy. The count is 1-1. So we have a runner on first with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 3-1 Cardinals. They are not terribly shifted to the right side with the runner on first and less than 2 out as they usually would be. The modified double play depth thrown over to first. Back in time is Karros, so the count remains 1-1. They're in a modified double play depth kind of shift thing. It's kind of amorphous. It's kind of nebulous at times, but that's largely what I'm interpreting it as. Now, McGreevy comes set. The 1-1 to Castro. A slider down and in and out of the zone. 2-1. Yes, I'm very much of a similar mind there, Heather. I think Yachty was a born manager from the day he entered this earth. 55 pitches here for McGreevy. Runner on first with 1 out. He comes set and deals to Castro. Chop foul down the first baseline and out of play. And the count is 2-2. Once again, the modified double play depth. McGreevy is back onto the bump. Runner leads off first. It's a 2-2 count. Back in the saddle is Castro. McGreevy sets below the belt. The pitch. And Uncle Charlie just low on the outside corner. It is ruled a ball. The count is 3-2. It was close, but it was certainly a ball. So we have ourselves a full count with 1 out. Runner on first. 3-1 in the top of the 4th. McGreevy sets and deals. Check swing on the four-seam fastball. Did he go around? Yes, says Blue down the third baseline. For the second out of the inning. Could not hold up his check swing, could Willie Castro. And now the ROX have a runner on first with 2 out. Oh, yeah, if he had made contact with that, it would have been a double. Make no mistakes about it, folks. Now, here is Sullivan. He's the catcher this afternoon, left-hand hitting. Righty-lefty matchup. Runner on first with 2 out. The first pitch of Sullivan. A four-seam fastball upstairs, and that is 1-0. Next pitch is going to be 60. Brett Sullivan over one the flyout, 229, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs in 58 games, a 662 OPS. Backup catcher here for Goodman, who's getting the half day off at DH. And McGreevy steps off the rubber, so we wait a little longer for the 1-0 offering. Once again, the infield defense is still very much shaded towards right with the lefty Sullivan. McGreevy sets below the belt. The 1-0. A slider away ruled a ball. The count is 2-0. The pace of play here this afternoon, at least to me, has been kind of jarring at times. Maybe it's just me, and I'm not going to pretend that it ain't. But that's just something I've been noticing. The 2-0 offering, hit out there into center field. Coming in is Church. He has to play it on the hop. And so a 2-out single there off the bat of Sullivan. And now the ROX have runners on first and second with 2 out in the top of the 4th inning. So a very nice piece of 2-out hitting there by Sullivan. That was a sinker that was belt high on the outside corner. Lined it right into center field. To Nate Church's credit, he did charge in on it, but he did not want to pull a Matt Holliday at Dodger Stadium in the NLDS in 09, the first pitch. Chopped and rolled over towards the Cardinals on deck. Correction, Rockies on deck. Circle count is 0-1. I take it most people here remember that particular game. Neilio with the $10 super. I'll get back to you in a moment, Neilio. Coming set. Runners lead off first and second. The 0-1. Fouled over towards the first base side now to play on the sweeper away, and the count is 0-2. Neilio, keep up the fantastic work, buddy. From Neil in Olathe, Kansas. KC. Neilio, thank you so much. It's really generous, and that means a lot. Common Sense McGreevy, the 0-2. And he throws down there to first, and back in time is Sullivan. The pitch is ruled a ball. It's a 1-2 count. Jimmy Crooks noticed that Sullivan at first was leading too far, got to his feet and put up a snap throw down to Burleson, and Sullivan just made it back in time. So we're getting to see a little bit more of what Jimmy Crooks can do with that arm. Common Sense McGreevy, the 1-2. Did he get a piece of it? It is drop strike 3, and he tags him out for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 left on. After 3.5 innings of play, it is 3-1 Redbirds going to the bottom of the 4th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. No, Neilio, that really is very amazing, and I appreciate it more than I can tell you. Of that, there's absolutely no doubt. And so, everything aside here for a moment, thank you all so much for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with me here on the road. It's always nice knowing I'm able to bring my Cardinal friends with me wherever I go. I can assure you, this is not a parasocial relationship. In many ways, it's a very real one between us both. Because I know you bring me into your life, but I also bring you into mine. I guess that's kind of the definition of a community, is it not? Yes, Jeff, the package did arrive, and it's successfully secure. I was not there to pick it up personally, so I have not seen it yet. My wife is going to be picking it up shortly, but when I do, you will most certainly hear from me. But it is in safe hands. It went where I told you to send it. It is secure. And I thank you very much for doing it. I'm really curious what you sent me. Harold Houseman. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's been nice, hasn't it? It's been a real thing. Now, due up here is Fermin, Torres, and Weatherall. So 8, 9, and 1 in the Cardinal order. And we're back for the bottom of the fourth inning. Lorenzen is definitely not long for this game with that pitch count and this heat. Even the umpires are getting treatment for heat right now by the home training staff. But Lorenzen's back out there. Home plate umpire, Blues back behind the plate, as if he was always born to be there. Lorenzen has thrown 71 pitches. Righty-righty matchup for Means 0 for 1. Coming winds, Lorenzen and deals. A sinker away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. So it is a 3-1 Redbird lead, bottom of the fourth inning. Jose Fermin 0 for 1, lined into a double play. That was the last one on Lorenzen, the very bizarre 1-3 double play. Now the 1-0. A sinker well up and away. A nice stop there by Sullivan, even getting to it, and the count is 2-0. You have something to send me? Really? Okay. Now the 2-0. Strike. Sinker down Broadway at the knees. The count is 2-1. Now the 2-1 offering. A slider down and away. It is ruled a ball. The count is 3-1. Now the 3-1 offering. Hit out there into left field. Over a few steps is Moniak. Picks it up on the line for the first out of the inning. Jose Fermin lines out to left for the first out. 75 pitches here for Michael Lorenzen, who, while he is not what one would call exceptional today, at least so far, in 3 1/3, he has been respectable. That is not how you would represent or articulate, describe the rest of his year. Showing bunt, pulling back is Torres. It's a changeup called strike, and the count is 0-1. Righty-lefty matchup. Brian Torres is 1 for 1. Hitting .232 with 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, a .698 OPS. I tell you, between Fermin and Torres, now the 0-1 pitch. A sinker down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. I feel like Brian Torres and Jose Fermin were originally supposed to be utility players, and they are, but they were more pieces that you would stick in and not play every day. Here we are, the 1-1. A four-seam fastball downstairs ruled a ball. The count is 2-1. Because you can put him pretty much anywhere, and it gives the roster a lot of flexibility. And in that way, they've both been extremely impressive. Lorenzen comes, motion, and deals. Hit foul down the right field line and out of play on the changeup down and in. The count is 2-2. He winds, and the 2-2 offering. Hit to the right side, picked up there by first, taking to the bag himself, does the first baseman, Rumfield, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So, a couple of quick outs there for Lorenzen, looking to have something of a breather inning, but here comes J.J. Weatherall. J.J. is 0 for 1 with a run scored and a walk. He's also left on base once. Walked in his first plate appearance. Lined out in his first official at-bat. And I don't know what just fell off on the field there that took a little bit of time. But here we are. The first pitch. A cutter away ruled a ball to Weatherall. The count is 1-0. So nobody on, 2 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. It's a 3-1 Redbird lead here against Colorado. The 82nd pitch for Lorenzen incoming. A sinker away ruled a ball. The count is 2-0. Oh, it is, Heather. This is a dog days of August game. Lorenzen winds and deals. A four-seam fastball up and well away once again. The count is 3-0. JJ gets back into the saddle. Lorenzen winds. Lorenzen deals. Strike. Sinker upstairs on the outer third at the belt. Had J.J. Weatherall challenged that, it most certainly would have been overturned in ball 4. So you're beginning to see the strategy evolve in real time. The 3-1 pitch. Strike. Changeup upstairs in almost the exact same place, might I add, as the fastball before it that was called a strike. The count is full. He didn't challenge either of them. I think he's earned enough street cred on the team to be saying, hey, Skip, I know a ball when I see it. Maybe that's not how they're doing it. I don't know. He wants a 3-2. A changeup up and away, ball 4. So J.J. Weatherall works a 2-out walk here at the bottom of the 4th inning. Really something there, no question. Yeah, Heather, they were absolutely both balls. The umpiring today has not been good. You know, we've already had an ABS challenge. In some ways, you wish the Cardinals would be more aggressive in those spots because they basically would have won all of them. Here's Ivan Herrera, 2 for 2. Here's the pitch. Hit to the left side. Picked up there at short by Tovar. He tosses the second to Castro for the force for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 walk. Nobody left on. After 4 full innings of play, it is 3-1 Redbirds going to the top of the 5th inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Balmer's Game Mike. Go back to that chat. All right. Now that is something. So, a pretty easy inning there for Lorenzen. You know, he's able to get something of a breather going, and that's all well and fine. We're cool there. But for the most part, the Cardinals have been doing a good job working him today. And that's something that may very well pay off coming forward here. And then, of course, you get to the Rockies' bullpen. Not that we should be getting on anybody's bullpen. But all that being said, right now they do seem to be playing looser, smarter baseball. And that's something that so many of us for at least 4 or 5 weeks were just kind of shaking our heads, where they'd find themselves in these incredible opportunities and would find absolutely new, creative, and otherwise original ways to produce nothing from them. And that's not been happening recently, and it's a good sign that this team is together on the same page. That would be my effective assessment of the situation. Cheers to that, Harold. Miz on the Brewers has 200K in 129 innings pitched. Yeah, he's second fastest in history. Yeah, he is scary good. I mean, I don't think he's going to get to that Bob Gibson, ERA and 1.25 from 68 or whatever it was. But you never know. He is a dramatic outlier. All right, we're back here for the top of the 4th inning. McCarthy, Carrick, and Rumpeld, 1, 2, and 3 in the Rocky order. McCarthy, 2 for 2 with a run scored. And the first pitch. Fouled down the third base side and out of play. The count is 0-1. So 3-1 Redbirds here in the top of the 5th inning. Nobody on, nobody out. 0-1 count. McCarthy is just loving Busch Stadium this weekend. I mean, this guy is so dialed in, it's ridiculous. This series, 9 for 11, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 extra base hits. The pitch. A curveball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. I mean, this guy's another demon if you're a Cardinal fan. Once Colorado gets out of here, you want to call a priest to exorcise whatever it was that allowed this to happen with McCarthy. Winding is McGreevy. The pitch. A curveball downstairs, blocked very well there by Jimmy Crooks. The count is 2-1. Hey. Oh, what do we have here? I know what we have here. Hold on a second, Patrick. Coming winds McGreevy, the 2-1. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Name explained. Just popping in to show my love for the Cards and Bombers Game Mike. I have it on mute. This one on mute so I can't hear Paul's coverage. Go Birds. You missed something there, Patrick. The 3-1. Strike, 4-seam fastball inside quarter below the belt. The count is 3-2. It's unfortunate you can't hear me at the moment, Patrick. But Name Explained there has an excellent YouTube channel. It's about etymology. Has over 500,000 subscribers. The 3-2. There's a fly ball out into center field. Going back is Nate Church fighting the sun in front of the wall, in front of the Bank of America sign. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. The experience is where it's at. Gibson was 112. Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was 125. But I'm sure you're right. The point is, it was just ridiculous. And then, of course, they lowered the mound because they wanted more offense. Went up, one down, indeed. No, but Name Explained there, Patrick. Check out his channel. It's very, very good. He and I have been podcasting now for the better part of a decade. The first pitch to the lefty Carrig. A cutter inside, ruled the ball. The count is 1-0. Joining us from the south of England, Cole Carrig. 1 for 1 with a walk. Righty-lefty matchup, nobody on with one out. Top of the fifth, 3-1 Cardinals. Winds McGreevy, he deals. A changeup away, it's definitely a ball. The count is 2-0. Back into the box is McGreevy, he deals. Swinging strike on the slider, down and in. Swinging over the top of that one was Carrick. And the count is 2-1. Carrick steps out of the box. Next pitch is going to be McGreevy's 75th on the afternoon. He looks in, and he deals. A four-seam fastball inside. Clear a ball. It's 3-1. Infield defense shaded towards right with nobody on the left-hand hitter. McGreevy looks in. He comes motion. The 3-1. Swinging strike on the changeup away. Swinging over the top of that one was Carrig. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the 3-2 pitch. Just got a piece of that curveball down and in. Rolls over towards the Cardinal dugout. The count remains full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So McGreevy looks in. He's from the full wind. He's looking in there to Crooks, who sets up inside. The 3-2. Foul down the first base side and out of play, and just foul at that. And the count remains full. 3-2. Looking in is McGreevy. This is quiet nap bat. The 3-2 offering. Ball 4 on the changeup, down and in. So Carrig works a 1-out walk-off McGreevy here in the top of the 5th inning. ROX have a runner on first. Oh, yeah, that is interesting, Harold. Yeah, I remember hearing about that once. It's ridiculous. His career WAR? Yeah. Now, from the stretches, McGreevy, as Rumfield steps into the box, the lefty is 0 for 2. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Runner leads with off first. Throwing over to first, there is McGreevy back in time with the head first slide is Carrig, and the count has not yet begun. We haven't seen a pitch yet. Next one will be the 80th for Michael McGreevy. He sets below the belt and deals. Foul down the third base side and out of play. It's an 0-1 count. Back into the box is Carrig. McGreevy from the stretch and deals. Strike. Uncle Charlie whispers over the outside corner thigh high. The count is 0-2. And stepping off the rubber there is McGreevy. Time was granted at the behest of Rumfield by the home plate umpire. He picks up a little bit of rosin there. Who can blame him? He has to be sweating bullets out there. I know they're professional athletes, but goodness gracious, that does not look fun. Now, below the belt is McGreevy. Runner leads the 0-2. A slider down and in, blocked extremely well there by Jimmy Crooks. The count is 1-2. going to be hot until next Sunday. Yeah. We're dealing with it. All over. Now McGreevy sets. Throws over to first. Just back in time is Carrick with the head first slide. So we get to wait a little longer for the 1-2. You know, it's interesting. As teams go, I can't say that purple is my favorite primary color for team branding. For some reason, it's just not, it doesn't hit in the right way. Maybe it's just me. I'm sure it probably is. Coming sets McGreevy, the 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Down, hacking goes Rumfield for the second out of the inning. So, Rumfield goes down hacking on that changeup away. Swung over the top of it, came in at 87 miles an hour from McGreevy. Had excellent arm side action for the right-hander. That's when you know it's working well. It's basically a first cousin of the screwball, if we're all being honest here. Now here's the righty hitting DH today, usual catcher Goodman. 1 for 2, the pitch. A four-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 1-0. Hunter Goodman, a single and a foul out. There's a runner on first, top of the 5th inning. 3-1 Redbirds. McGreevy sets and deals. A sinker well inside, and the count is 2-2. John Harding, my fiance and I watch most games that you call. We truly appreciate you. Thanks, Paul. Hey, I'm glad you two enjoy it so much that I can be a small part in your life. And I wish you both all the happiness in the world. I know exactly what that's like, because I'm just as lucky. Runner leads. It's a 2-0 count. He deals to Goodman. Swinging strike on the sweeper, down and away, and the count is 2-1. "86 pitches here for McGreevy, so in all likelihood, this will be his final frame today. And because he has had to labor quite a bit despite an otherwise favorable result up to this point in the game. Goodman's back into the saddle. Runner leads off first. From the stretches, McGreevy. He deals. Foul tip. Oh, correction. Hit back on a hop on a bit of a number. Up to McGreevy, throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 walk, 1 left on. After 4.5 innings of play, it is 3-1 Redbirds going to the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Paul D, and if you're enjoying my call of Redbird action this afternoon, you haven't done so already, but you feel I've earned it, please do leave a like. It is greatly appreciated. It has helped this channel more than I can tell you. And we want to make sure other Cardinal fans have a place to go where they can follow the team almost, underline almost, every day. And if you like what you see, it's your first time here, or you've been back multiple times, and you're digging it, but you're not subscribed, well, hit subscribe. Great community here on Game Mike. With that said, me here, you there, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Let's go back to the chat. Okay. You got it. At this rate, this game is going to be going over 3 hours long. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It does happen. What can we say? And Harold Houseman with the $5 Super Bombers Game Mike with Big Paul D is where it's at. Thank you so much, Harold. I really... you and everybody else who has given Super Chats over time, it helps extraordinarily. And I know some people can't, and you'll notice I don't really plug it. I recognize it when somebody's very generous and wants to send something our way here. But for the most part, you know, when I come into this, I'm just looking for the channel to grow and this to get to more baseball fans. And everybody here who's been a regular, whether you're active in the chat or you just watch quietly on your own every day, I can't thank you all enough. And that's just the truth of the matter here. All right, due up for the Redbirds here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Burleson, Walker, and Crooks. 3, 4, and 5 in the Redbird order. They have a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Lorenzen so far, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. He has been what we like to call in the industry sufficient. Red Bull time. Yeah, I need to get more of those. Kokoda watching from Southeast Texas. Thank you. Welcome back, Kokoda. As I recall, you were talking about Houston a fair bit. Now the first pitch to Burleson. There's a fly ball out to right center field. Going back, looking up, and it is gone. A solo home run off the bat of Alec Burleson. A Burley bomb for Alec. Burn, Burley, burn, and the Cardinals have a 4-0 lead. Oh, he got absolutely all of that one. Alec Burleson is absolutely a force right now. It asks the question, if you don't have to pitch to him, why do you do it? He's been that good. 4-1 Cardinals. Now, the first pitch to Jordan Walker. A sinker away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. A Burley bomb indeed for Alec. Burn, Burley, burn. The 1-0. Sinker strike. Outside corner. The count is 1-1 to Jordan Alexander Walker, who's 1 for 2 this afternoon. Next pitch is Lorenzen's 90th. And there's a challenge there on the called strike by the Cardinals. And the call is confirmed it is a strike, so they lose the challenge. They have 1 remaining. Colorado has back both of theirs. The 1-1 pitch. A slider away ruled a ball. Lighting off that one was Walker. The count is 2-1. Looking in is Lorenzen. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning. 1 already in for the Cardinals. He deals. Hit to the left side and into left field for a base hit. Finds that hole between short and third. And Jordan Walker's at first with nobody out. Following the solo home run by Alec Burleson. And Jeff Coleman with the $1 super. Jeff Coleman buying runs. What's the difference between him and Major League ball clubs? I can tell you 2 things. They have to put their money up front, but he rewards results. About to leave for work. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, don't worry about it, Jeff. It's cool. So a brief powwow on the mound there between Sullivan and Lorenzen with the runner on first, nobody out. Left-hand hitting Jimmy Crooks will be coming up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 with an RBI. Had that sac fly earlier. Now, the first pitch. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play. Count is 0-1. I would like to see Albert in the organization at some point. Okay, I have some thoughts on that. The 0-1. A sinker well upstairs and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. I guess the question there, Harold, is in what capacity, right? What is it that he can provide to the Cardinals in whatever role that would be? I'm curious how you envision that. From the stretch, Lorenzen, he deals a curveball well outside. Not even close there to Jimmy Crooks. The count's 2-1. Hitting coach. Okay. All right. Runner leads off first with nobody out. From the stretch is Lorenzen. Throws over to first. Back in time with the head first slide is Jordan Walker. You know, it's a good question, Harold. And it has so much to do with what Albert wants to do, obviously. Come and set the 2-1. A changeup up and away and nowhere near the zone. The count's 3-1. So he's doing a lot of media stuff now. Like he'll be a color analyst on NBC Peacock, Sunday night games, things like that. He could be a very good hitting coach. Now the 3-1 offering. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Castro. He throws the second one. On to first. Not in time. So Jimmy Crooks reaches on the fielder's choice. Jordan Walker erased on the force at second. And now there's a runner on first with one out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 4-1. One already across there with the Burley bomb from Alec Burleson. So it looks like we may very well have ourselves a pitching change. Lorenzen's at 97 right now. And here comes the righty Gordon in relief. So we have ourselves a pitching change. That's something, isn't it? A pitching change with a runner on first, one out, bottom of the fifth inning. I'll give you the numbers on Gordon in just a moment. If Albert and Yachty were both available and willing, it would make a tough decision, but an absolute rock of base for the Birds. So anytime you bring in some kind of legendary players, depending on the capacity, right? Like right now, something I would consider to be a cautionary tale is Buster Posey being, the VP or president of baseball operations, effectively the GM for the Giants. Great player. We all knew and loved him. But he hasn't made a great GM. You think it would. You think he would. But it really hasn't happened. And sometimes it can strain the relationship between fans and the organization and the players and the organization in the fans. Basically because if for some reason they come up short with such high expectations based purely on who they were as players, it's very difficult and delicate waters to navigate, I guess is the best way I would put it here. The pitching link is brought to you by Starlink, the official internet sponsor of Bombers Game Mike. Well, throwing a bit of shade there is Justin Beasley. Tanner Gordon, the 28-year-old right-hander, 15 games. He's 0-2 with a 5.91 ERA and 64 innings pitched exactly. 56 strikeouts in that time and a whip of 1.50. He will face Mason Wynn, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Been left on base a couple of times. On deck is Nate Church, so it'll be a righty-righty matchup with a runner on first and one out here in the bottom of the fifth inning. It is a 4-1 Cardinal lead. One already crossed here in the bottom of the frame, following that massive solo home run to right center by Burleson. Cummins sets Gordon. He deals to win. A four-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 1-0. It's all No, I thought you were throwing shade towards Starlink. Gave you the numbers on Tanner Gordon a moment ago. Much to be desired up to this point. He sets at the belt. The pitch. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by the second baseman. He throws the second one on to first, and he beats the relay throw at first. So Mason Wynn will reach on the fielder's choice. Castro and Tovar couldn't turn it fast enough. They get the lead runner there in the person of Jimmy Crooks at second with the force. And now Colorado is calling for official review on the bang-bang play at first with Mason Wynn. So the play is officially under review. I will most certainly be giving you those numbers there in a moment. Let's see here on the replay. It's going to be very close. Oh boy, that is so close. It might even actually be a tie. So they're going to go to the off-site replay center. It's like NASA Mission Control, but better funded. So we have ourselves a play under review. Which gives me a moment to say thank you again all so much for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with me on Game Mike here. It is exceptionally appreciated, to say the least, especially with some of the technical mishaps earlier with a less than stellar internet. So we are awaiting this ABS challenge here. They keep replaying it. And the call is overturned, and it is a double play, a 4-6-3 double play. Mason Wynn hit into for the final out of the inning. No runs and no left on. We go to the top of the sixth inning. 4-1 Cardinals here in Game 3 of 3, the rubber match. I'm Paul D., and this is Bombers Game Mike. Let me go back to the chat. Right now, and this is the thing that's rather interesting about this to a degree. So when you're doing a stream like this, even if it's just audio only, the one thing that's very important is that there's very little by way of ambient sound in the place that you're doing it. The thing that's interesting here, however, is that in order to guarantee that outcome, I actually have to turn off the fans and the air conditioning because it is too loud. It's an in-wall unit, things like that. So right now, there are times when I just feel the heat getting to me. I've been doing a pretty decent job keeping myself hydrated here so far, but there are some times when I just feel like, oh man, it is sticky in this room right now. My goodness, definitely not my usual accommodations to be sure. Now, due up for the Rockies in the top of the 6th inning. Let's see here. Due up, let's see, is the third baseman, Karros, the left-hander. He will face McGreevy, who is actually out for his 6th frame. Top of the 6th inning, 4-1 Cardinals. And the first pitch to Moniak. Strike, sinker on the inside corner. Correction, Moniak is at the plate. Sitting outside is Crooks, the 0-1 pitch. Slider downstairs and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Yeah, this is very true there, Justin. Next pitch is McGreevy's 90th, the 1-1. Hit into foul territory, going over towards the dugout for Colorado. Underneath it is Fermin for the first out of the inning. So a foul out by Carrig for the first out. Yeah, I've never, Bo Schlosser, something that's interesting about that whole situation is I've never really been able to piece it entirely together. I'll explain in a moment. Here's the righty Karros, the third baseman. And the first pitch, hit to the left side, picked up well wide of third by Fermin. He throws to first in time to get Karros flying down the line for the second out of the inning. They were clearly shifted somewhat. And in this case, Fermin had to go well to his left, managed to leather it on a big hop, turn around and put a great throw to Burleson. Had Moniak easily by Karros by 2 steps. Now here is the left-handed second baseman, Willie Castro. He's 0 for 2. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Nobody on with 2 out. Top of the 6th inning, 4-1 Cards. The pitch. Swinging strike on the cutter on the outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. Well, the thing I find interesting is this. At least at the time, what do we know? We know that the Angels offered $50 million more and more years. Now, the 0-1. Foul down the third base side, now to play in the four-seam fastball up and in. The count is 0-2. And one of the things he cited, at least at the time, is that he really wanted that additional money for his personal charity, which I think is interesting. Looking in is McGreevy, winds and deals. A curveball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Which I thought was kind of an odd explanation. Willie Castro is lined out and struck out. It's a 1-2 count with 2 out. Coming set is McGreevy. He winds the 1-2. A sweeper downstairs and out of the zone. The count is even at 2-2. But here's the thing. He took the big money. He went behind the orange curtain. Played in obscurity for years. Now, the 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out to right center field. Going back is Jordan Walker towards the wall, and it hits the base of the wall. It's over his head. He picks it up right in front of the warning track, tossing it back in. And there at second with a 2-out double is Willie Castro. And the Colorado has a runner on second with 2 out here in the top of the 6th inning. So a 2-out double by Willie Castro. That was the 96th pitch so far this afternoon for McGreevy. That was definitely a sinker that was middle, belt high. Willie Castro did the thing. They were actually quite lucky that thing stayed in the ballpark. But getting back to the Albert Pujols thing, in terms of the extra money, he surely earned it. And by that, I mean, he played in obscurity for the better part of a decade. When he was out there, especially given the fact that he was so hobbled injury-wise at the time, it was like he had gone into the baseball witness protection program. Now here's Sullivan, the backup catcher. Here's the pitch. A curveball on the outside corner ruled the ball. The count is 1-0. There's a runner on second with 2 out. Sullivan here is 1 for 2 this afternoon. It's a righty-lefty matchup. But seriously, it was like he went into baseball witness protection. The 1-0 pitch. A changeup away ruled the ball. The count is 2-0. But oddly enough, and I think this is fair to say here, is that he also lost a lot of credit with St. Louis. He was a god in St. Louis, you know? I mean, goodness, you're going to get paid upwards of $200 million anyway. Now, McGreevy sets the 2-0. Popped up into foul territory on the left side. Chasing it is Faramine, and it's just out of reach, about 2 rows deep. And the count is 2-1. He lost so much credit here. He was almost like he was erased for the better part of a decade until he came back. You know, he did a 700 home run thing. But it's one of those things where if the Angels, you know, offer you big money, it's a Faustian bargain. Now, come in set. The 2-1. Fouled straight back on the slider away. The count is 2-2. So basically, Albert Pujols took a Faustian bargain, played in obscurity for years, behind the Iron Curtain, in baseball witness protection. And honestly, I have to imagine that in his hearts of hearts, he knows all these years later, he made the wrong decision. Because he did. That was the 100th pitch here for McGreevy. Come in set is McGreevy, the pitch. A changeup downstairs blocked very well by Jimmy Crook. Staying right there at second is Castro. The count is full, 3-2. Now he comes set. And the 3-2 pitch. Hit out to right field. Going back is Jordan Walker in front of the wall. Looking up, and it is gone. A 2-run home run to right for Sullivan, and that will cut it down to a 4-3 Cardinal lead. That one landed out there in right center field in the Redbird bullpen. And I think we're getting to the point here where McGreevy has certainly run out of gas. 102 pitches here. You have to imagine Ollie Marmol's probably going to the pen. I haven't seen anybody warming up yet, but at this point, I'd be very surprised. It looked like, oh boy, it almost looked like a sweeper that didn't sweep. So basically a cement mixer off-speed pitch in the middle of the zone. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald. Oh, man, I loved watching that guy play. And, you know, just I'm reading here a lot of you guys' comments there on your recollections. We're going to the bullpen, by the way. Big surprise. On the Albert thing. And I've said this before. As much as I adore Albert Pujols from the time he was here, you know, a couple of World Series rings, the best part of his Hall of Fame career, at the end of the day, the Cardinals actually did luck out there. Even though at the time, and even some sense to a degree now, you still don't really feel that way, but all the evidence points in that direction. Justin Brule, the 29-year-old left-hander, in 51 games, a 0-0 record, a 3.54 ERA, 56 innings pitched exactly, 39 strikeouts in that span, and a whip of 1.38. So Justin Brule's coming on in with his rubber left arm. This pitching change is brought to you by Rolex, not the official timepiece of Ollie Marmol. Man, Justin. Those sting. Oh, goodness. So we await the resumption of the game. Justin Brule coming in here against the Rockies in relief of Michael McGreevy, who goes 5 2/3 with 3 home runs. Gave you the numbers on Brule just a moment ago. He will be facing Ezekiel Tovar, the right-hander, the 9-hitter. And it looks like we are back in action here, folks. 4-3 Cardinals, top of 6 with 2 out. 2 already in for the Rockies here, following that 2-run home run by Sullivan. Cummins sets Brule the first pitch. Strike, sinker on the outside corner below the belt. The count is 0-1. He sets above the belt. The 0-1 pitch. Just got a piece of that sweeper down and away, did Ezekiel Tovar, and the count is 0-2. So tomorrow night, the Philadelphia Phillies come to town for a 3-game set Monday through Wednesday. And that should be a fantastic matchup, to say the least. Cummins sets Brule. The 0-2 to Tovar. There's a fly ball out to left field. Going back is Torres. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. However, 2 runs on one very big hit, the 2-run home run to right by Sullivan. And now it is down to a 4-3 Cardinal lead. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. 4-3 Cardinals going bottom of 6. Wow. Yeah, I'm learning more about how apparently his wife, I guess ex-wife now, apparently had a big role in that. I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, for a lot of these players, you know, their family life will, in many cases, have a very strong voice in what decisions they made in terms of free agency, or if you have no trade protection, be willing to accept a trade to another team. At this point, it's a counterfactual, right? We're never going to have that opportunity again, but it still just never sits with you well. I don't know how it can. $100 likes. Awesome job, chat. Let's get to 150. Oh, Justin Beasley doing Justin Beasley things. I see we have a whole debate down there in terms of Terrell Owens get into the Hall of Fame. Terrell Owens, in his playing days, was just insane, both on the field and off the field. That's my quarterback. I remember watching that game in flight. It was not easy. Of course, the Giants were a team of destiny that year, so I don't really have to complain. That, and they beat the Patriots, stopped them from going 19-0, and more importantly, they beat Boston. All right, we are here for the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 up, Nate Church, Jose Fermin, and Brian Torres, 7, 8, 9 in the order. The first pitch from Gordon. Strike down and in on the 4-seam fastball to Church. The count is 0-1. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Redbirds. Nate Church is 1 for 2 this afternoon. Winding is Gordon. He deals. Swinging strike on the fastball down Broadway. The count is 0-2. Looking in is Gordon and Winden, the 0-2 offering. Fouled back on the 4-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 0-2. That came in at 96 miles an hour. Now the 0-2 offering. A changeup down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Do I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall? The 1-2 offering. Fouled back on the 4-seam fastball down and in. The count is 1-2. Well, Heather, you definitely have a gift for incendiary questions in the chat. And I do mean that as a compliment. I enjoy that kind of thing. Let me think on that for a moment. He winds the 1-2 pitch. Fouled straight back on the 4-seam fastball up and away. Still 1-2. Nate Church is really working Gordon here. So, I can tell you what I think. The 1-2 pitch. A curveball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-2. If you're asking, I guess there's several questions that need to be answered. We're going to start with number 1. Did Pete Rose, stand by? The 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out to center field. The center fielder is underneath it, fighting the sun, shades down. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Coming here is Fairmean. Do you feel that Pete Rose, after his lifetime ban, effectively served his sentence? And what by that I mean, he will never live to see the day he potentially would get into it. And then you have to answer the question, is that penance enough? Do you believe that he never bet against his team? He maintained that to his dying breath. Now, the first pitch to Fairmean. Tongue tire. Count is 1-0. Now, the 1-0. Slider strike, inside quarter below the belt. The count is 1-1 to Fairmean. Okay. What did Harold say here? He was a great player, but an absolute donkey of a person. Now the 1-1 offering. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by Castro at second. He throws to first in time to get Fairmean. So Fairmean grounds out 4-3 for the second out here in the bottom of the 6th. Nobody on, nobody out. Rather, check that. Nobody on, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th inning is a 4-3 Cardinal lead. Great player, but an awful person. And unfortunately, and I think this is something we all learn, is that whether it be professional athletes, famous actors, musicians, whatever the case is, you can, be inspired and in awe of their work. The first pitch to Torres. Slider up and away, counts 1-0. But you also have to keep in context that they were really just less than stellar human beings. And a lot of times you're forced to separate the two, if you can. The 1-0. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball, down and in. The count is 1-1. And I think that's just kind of the part of growing up when you realize that your idols and everybody you root for or follow, whatever the case, they're not going to be canonized. We want them to be. We like to think they are in our imagination. The 1-1 offering. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball down Broadway. The count is 1-2. And Pete Rose definitely goes into that category. Talent does not equal great personal character. The 1-2 pitch. Four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is even, 2-2 to Torres. Nobody on, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Redbirds. Torres is 1 for 2. Coming winds, Gordon, the 2-2 offering. Swinging strike 3. Down, hack and goes Torres on the four-seam fastball on the outside quarter for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. After 6 full innings of play, it is 4-3 Cardinals going to the top of the 7th inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. So that's one of the hard parts about growing up, is you realize that all these great talented people with all these accomplishments, their character does not always match that. And this is what I can say. For me, at this point, do I personally think that Pete Rose served his sentence, which is to say, live, better part of 40 years and never see himself get inducted? I would say that is a very harsh penalty and a sentence he most certainly fulfilled. But in inducting him, I'm not doing it for his sake, right? I'm doing it because I feel that there's something fundamentally absent in the Hall of Fame, not having the all-time career hits leader in Major League Baseball enshrined there. So this is not even so much a Pete Rose issue at this point. It's he's gone, he served his sentence, so there's one of the prerequisites out of the way. But putting him in there is more for the Hall than it has anything to do with Pete Rose. That would be my take. All right, so due up for the Rockies here in the top of the 7th inning is McCarthy, Carrick, and Rumfield. McCarthy is 2 for 3 this afternoon with a run scored. Man, like I said, they're going to have a priest come in here and exercise Busch Stadium because that guy's a demon. Oh, what, do they have a cutout of him acting as a honorary doorman there, Jeff? I mean, I've been up to the hall, and it's cool. No, Alan, I don't. As I mentioned, I'm on the road. All right, so here is the left-hander McCarthy strutting into the box. Brule is out there for his second frame, so we will have ourselves a lefty-lefty matchup. And when Cole Kehring, who's on deck, hits the plate as the switch hitter, he will most certainly be hitting right. No, but I'm talking about a proper full, not like some footnote, you know, somewhere in the beginning. I mean, because that's more just like insulting him long term. I don't like it. Let's put it this way. I don't consider the hall a part in, part out experience. You either in, you either out. And half measures, well, half measures. So we have a little bit of a lull here in the action. The home plate umpire, I think, is being treated due to the fact that he is absolutely sweltering under all that gear right now. And unlike the players who can go in for a half inning to the clubhouse, get treatment, get AC and whatnot, he doesn't really have that opportunity. Neither of the other three on the base pass. All right, so here is the lefty McCarthy. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup. Brule comes set above the belt. The first pitch. Hit to the right side, picked up by Burleson, steps on the bag himself for the first out of the inning. So Justin Brule, in his second frame, leading things off here, manages to get McCarthy putting a number on the trademark that basically rolls fair up the first base line to Burleson, who simply picks it up, steps on the bag for the first out of the inning. Now, the first pitch to Kehring. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Kehring, the switch hitter, batting right against the lefty Brule. Nobody on with one out. Top of the seventh inning. It's a 4-3 Redbird lead. Brule in relief of McGreevy, the 1-0 offering. A sweeper strike on the outside corner. The count is 1-1. Now the 1-1 offering. Swinging strike on the sinker away. The count is 1-2. It's interesting because Justin Brule has really carved himself out a role here. And he's been pretty steady. I'm not saying that he has been the model of consistency. But when he comes in, I don't get a shower of anxiety over my body knowing what might happen next. Brule sets, and Brule deals. Swinging strike three on the sweeper, down and into Kehring for the second out of the inning. Kehring just swung right over the top of that sweeper, down and in. He must have actually, he swung under it, probably missed it by 1.5 inches. A very nice job executing on the mound there by Justin Brule. So nobody on with two out, top of the seventh inning, 4-3. Here is the lefty Rumfield, who's 0 for 3. Lefty-lefty matchup, top of the 7th, 2 out. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball out to right field. Going over a few feet to his right is Jordan Walker battling the sun shades down. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks. Nobody left on. It is 7th inning stretch time down at Busch Stadium. It's a 4-3 Cardinal lead on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call of Redbird action this afternoon here on Game Mike, and you feel I've earned it, please leave that like. That little button on your screen, your mobile device, on your browser, on your computer, somewhere on your television, does more good than you can possibly know or I could possibly communicate. And Lord knows you have my eternal gratitude. And if you're new here, you like what you see in here, or if you've been here multiple times, you really like what you see in here, and you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe. Great to have you. With that said, I'm Paul D. This is Bombers Game Mike. 4-3 Cardinals going bottom of 7th. Russell Morrow, hi from St. Louis. Cheers to St. Louis, Russell. Roger Bassman, Pete Rose should definitely be in the Hall, and his ceremony should be of its own event. He never stopped being an envoy for the game and its traditions. Charlie Hustle, for all of his personal failings, was utterly devoted baseball to his last day. And it's just really unfortunate how that all went down. It really is. Pirates got smoked 11-1. How about that? Oh, yeah, Choir Guy. I've seen that. And, you know, I feel like the old Busch Stadium really became truly a multi-purpose cookie-cutter stadium with a soul. As soon as the football Cardinals moved out, they put real grass. The first pitch to Weatherall. A changeup away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. 4-3 Cardinals here in the bottom of the seventh inning. J.J. Weatherall followed by Ivan Herrera. And then Burleson. Come winds Gordon, the 1-0. Strike, four-seam fastball whispers over the black, just above the knees. The count is 1-1. JJ has a walk, a lineout, and a walk. He's 0 for 1. 20 pitches so far for Gordon. It's a righty-lefty matchup. He winds and deals. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball down Broadway. 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. Russell, I am on the road, and when I'm on the road, it's audio only. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled back on the four-seam fastball up. So Weatherall, you know, here's something interesting about J.J. Weatherall. He hasn't struck out in quite some time. And one of the things I find really fascinating so far about him developing as a hitter is that he's getting harder and harder to strike out. Now, the 1-2 pitch. Hit out there into center field and in for a leadoff base hit. So a single to center off the bat of J.J. Weatherall, and the Cardinals are in business here with a runner on first, nobody out, bottom of the seventh inning. They have a 4-3 lead over the ROX here in Game 3, the rubber match on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. Well, I didn't say that he had gone into yesterday, I should say. But the fact of the matter is that's an aberration. And we can see how well he's been doing in that respect. The first pitch to Herrera. Strike on the outside corner. The count is 0-1. Nobody is ever going to not strike out completely, but he is mastering the zone and making his choices of swings and pitches in a way that vastly exceeds the number of years he's been playing in the pros. The next pitch. Sweepers. Slider strike. Swung right through it. The count's 0-2. Ooh. Gordon sets. Runner leads off first. The 0-2 to Herrera. Fouled down the first base side and out of play. A $2 super from Russell Morrow. Thank you so much, Russell. That means everything to me, and I'm glad you're enjoying it this much. But we're seeing a player develop into something special in real time is really the point I'm making here. Now the 0-2 to Herrera. Hit to the left side and into left field. In the hole between short and third. And the Cardinals have runners on first and second. Nobody out following the two consecutive singles from the top of the Redbird order. And now here comes Alec Burleson. That solo home run earlier right now is the difference in this game. 110.3 exit velocity. An apogee of 94 feet. He hit it 441 feet to right center last time. Sometimes you just wonder and think, man, with a home run that great, shouldn't it be worth more than one? A fielder's choice, a walk, and a home run. Righty-lefty matchup. Runners lead off first and second. And the pitch. A changeup away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-0. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Now, coming, set. Stepping off the rubber there is Gordon. Yes, he did get paid. But at the same time, when you look at the details of that extension, it's a very team-friendly deal. He comes, set. Now, the 1-0. and he popped it on up out there into left center field. Underneath it, calling it off of the center fielder, calling off Moniak. He catches it for the first out of the inning. So Burleson's a little upset with himself with that. Now runners are on first and second with one out, bottom of the seventh, 4-3 over the Rockies. And here comes Jordan Alexander Walker. I mean, with that deal in J.J. Weatherall, really one of the biggest things potentially is forfeiting his 2 initial years for free agent eligibility. Cummins sends Gordon, the first pitch to Walker. Squibb to the right side. Charging in is Castro. He picks it up. He throws to first. He gets Jordan just in time for the second out of the inning. Both of the runners advance 90 feet. So the Cardinals have runners on second and third with 2 out here at the bottom of the 7th inning. So his basically forfeiting those 2 initial years of free agent eligibility, should he turn into the player that many people believe he will be, is a huge sacrifice. That's why I was talking about it maybe last week, 2 weeks ago, is that it's very much an example of him buying in on the ground floor in terms of what's being built with this team right now. That's the interesting part about it. So we have ourselves a mound visit between the pitching coach, Sullivan behind the dish, and Gordon on the mound. He's going to face the left-handed hitting catcher, Jimmy Crooks. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he's very comfortable in his own skin. I mean, you can tell, like, in interviews that he's still just a really young guy. But he also seems to have a pretty settled sense of self, which is to say he seems very comfortable in his own skin. And that is something that is huge in any professional sport, but especially baseball, in terms of consistency and understanding that it's a game predicated on failure, much less than success. Coming set is Gordon, righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch of Jimmy Crooks, fouled back on the slider, up and in. The count is 0-1. Runners lead. Coming set is Gordon. The 0-1. Four-seam fastball upstairs. The count is 1-1. 32 pitches here for Gordon. 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 out. He comes set. The pitch. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball, up and in. The count is 1-2. That's something this afternoon certainly the Cardinals have been doing with great success, is working every Rocky pitcher that they have faced so far. That could not be important, and I know many people here know that, and sometimes they haven't really done a great job at it, but they've been doing it well lately. Now he comes set. The 1-2 offering. A changeup downstairs, blocked very well there by Sullivan. The count is 2-2. Now, Gordon comes set. Runner leads off second and third. He deals. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by the first baseman. Covering there is Gordon. He gets the throw. He beats Crook to the bag for the third and final out of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no walks, and 2 left on. After 7 full innings of play, it is 4-3 Redbirds going to the top of the 8th inning here on Getaway Day at Busch Stadium on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. Let's go back to the chat. Richard Talley, happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, Paul. Happy Sunday to you too, Richard, and happy Sunday all. For as long as I can remember, Sunday has been my favorite day of the week. I'm glad you do, Russell. It's great to have you. So due up for the ROX in the top of the 8th inning is Goodman, Moniak, and Karros. It's still showing Brule is in the game, which I think is an interesting thought because he's going to face a right-hander. followed by a left-hander, followed by a right-hander. He's probably going to go to George Soriano, if I'm guessing. That's just me guessing. I haven't seen anything yet. It would be interesting if he sent Brule out there again. Obviously, Soriano got quite a bit of work in the Yankees series, so the off day plus the last 2 days, he should be fresh at this point. Or so I would be led to believe. But I have not seen anything quite as yet. And indeed it is George Soriano. So Ali Marmol going to the pen. 52 games, 4-3 record, a 3.55 ERA, and 50 2/3 innings pitched. 51 strikeouts in that span, a whip of 1.16 for the 27-year-old right-hander George Soriano. He will start off the top of the 8th against these Rockies hitters in the middle of their lineup. And we're back here for the top of the 8th inning. 4-3 Cardinals here in the rubber match down at Busch. Tomorrow night, the Phillies are in town. Another major challenge. And we are back to the action. DJ Nick Fly. Hey, Paul. Howdy from Sparta, Missouri. Cheers, Sparta, Missouri. Now, here is Soriano on the bump. Gave you his numbers just a moment ago. It's a righty-righty matchup here against Goodman. He sets at the belt. The first pitch. There's a fly ball down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is gone into the second deck, just to the left of the Big Mac sign. And that will tie it all up at 4, following the leadoff solo home run on the very first pitch from George Soriano. And we are tied at 4 here in the top of the 8th inning in the rubber match. Oh boy, that was a bomb-ola. I told you, our bullpen is horrid. I think that's pretty much been in clear evidence for a long time there, Scott. So, all tied at 4. Here's Moniak, righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch from Soriano. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. This has been a very long game. He comes set. The 1-0 pitch. A changeup called strike on the outer third at the belt. The count is 1-1. Home plate umpire just keeps calling those high strikes. Very seldom challenged. Moniak, a strikeout, a pop-out, and a foul-out. He's 0 for 3. Coming set is Soriano. The 1-1. A four-seam fastball up and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Well, of course I am, Scott. Why wouldn't I be? Soriano looks in. He sets from the stretch. Nobody on with nobody out. Top of the 4th. The pitch. Strike. Slider on the outer third below the belt. The count is 2-2. So one already in here for the Rockies in the top of the 8th. It has tied us all up at 4 on that solo home run by Hunter Goodman. Into the second deck in left, just to the left of the Big Mac sign. Soriano comes set. The 2-2. Hit out there into left center field and in for a base hit. Picked up out there by Torres. And now the ROX have a runner on first. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th inning following the single to left center field by Mickey Moniak. Now here comes the third baseman, Karros. Oh, yeah, they do. They do. But I this may be a Cardinal channel, but I generally like to call it down the middle if possible. Now, the first pitch of the ready, Karros. He bunts it, pops it up, and it falls. Or did somebody actually catch that thing? It's caught by Soriano. So, Karros throws down a bunt, pops it up between the mound and home. Soriano comes charging in at first because the view was blocked by Jimmy Crooks. I thought perhaps he had dropped it, but he manages to basket catch it in front of the mound for the first out of the inning. Now that's helping your own cause, folks. Now here's the lefty Willie Castro, the first pitch. A changeup, strike, outside quarter above the knees. The count is 0-1. Now he comes set at the belt. The pitch. A changeup away, ruled a ball. The count is 1-1. Runner on first with one out. Top of the 8th inning, all tied at 4. Hunter Goodman got us here into this deadlock. On the first pitch off with Soriano, the 1-1. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball away. The count is 1-2. Willie Castro, a line out, a strikeout, and a double. He's 1 for 3. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Willie Castro. Picking up there some rosin was Soriano. Who can blame him with weather like this? Runner leads. Infield defense shaded towards the right with the lefty Castro. The 1-2 pitch. Hit to the right side. Picked up there by Weatherall. He throws across the body to first in time to get Castro going down the line for the second out of the inning. The runner advances safely from first to second on the play in the person of Mickey Moniak. Weatherall had to charge in onto the infield grass while playing way back, almost on the lip of the outfield grass. He manages to get it on a hop, make the transfer, throw across his body with his momentum going the other way to get Castro for the second out. So now there's a runner on second with 2 out, top of the 8th. The first pitch to Sullivan. Fouled back on the changeup. The count is 0-1. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Sullivan is 2 for 3 this afternoon. We are all tied at 4 here between the Redbirds and Rockies, top of the 8th inning. Soriano looks in. He sets at the belt. The 0-1. Swinging strike on the changeup, down and in. The count is 0-2. Now Sullivan gets back into the box. Got a little bit of pine tear there on his lumbar as opposed to his lumbar. Soriano sets. It's an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. A changeup bounced out in front of home plate. Blocked brilliantly there by Jimmy Crooks, keeping that runner down there in second. It's obviously ruled a ball. The count is 1-2. And I am genuinely curious about Jimmy Crooks. We all know about his propensity for some pass balls. And seeing his bat start to come together, I'm curious what his future holds. Now Soriano sets the 1-2. A four-seam fastball up and away, and the count is 2-2. Runner leads off second. Soriano sets. Sullivan in the saddle. The 2-2. Check swing on the sweeper down away. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the third baseline, and the count is full 3-2. Soriano looks in, shakes off Jimmy Crooks a couple of times, but he has his pitch. He comes set. Runner leads off second. The 3-2. Ball 4 on the changeup away. So that 2-out walk there to Sullivan has put runners on first and second with 2 out in the top of the 8th inning for the ROX. And that'll bring up the 9-hitter, the shortstop, Ezekiel Tovar. 17 pitches so far for Soriano. No doubt this has not been his true outstanding outing of the season. It's a righty-righty matchup. Runners lead off first and second. The pitch. A slider down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Soriano sets. Runners lead. The pitch. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball on the outer third thigh high. The count is 1-1. Now, this must be a very difficult game to even attend just because of the weather. And the pace has been a bit laborious at times, I guess is the best way to put it. Soriano sets and deals. A slider down and in ruled a ball. The count is 2-1 to Ezekiel Tovar. On deck is McCarthy. Soriano sets. And the 2-1. Hit on out there into center field. Going back a couple of steps is Nate Church fighting the sun shades down. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. However, 1 run on one very big hit, the solo home run to left off the bat of Hunter Goodman, has us all tied at 4 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. And 2 left on. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my caller Redbird action here on Game Mike this afternoon, and you haven't done so already, but you feel I've earned it, please do leave that like. You can't beat doing that, especially if you're digging what you're seeing. And I thank you very much for those who have and often do, or always do as the case may be. And if you're not already subscribed, but you're really digging it here, well, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you back anytime. With that said, all tied at 4 going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Okay. Due up for the Redbirds is Mason Wynn, Nate Church, and Jose Fermin. So 6, 7, and 8 in the Cardinal order. This is going to be a tight one. It already is. It's still showing Gordon in the game for Colorado. We'll see what happens there. Oh, no problem, Scott. Doge Bowl, 30 more likes. Well, let's hope so, Doge. Let's hope so. But whatever the case is, thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with me here. It is a pleasure to have you. We await the bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals need to find some way to push across a run here. They're certainly more than capable of doing so. That's a good question, Heather. A very fine question, but baseball's like that. Any team can beat any team on a given day. I guess that's generally true about professional sports more broadly, but especially in baseball. So we await the bottom of the 8th, and we have returned. The righty Gordon's out there for his third frame. He'll face Mason Wynn. He's 1 for 3. Righty-righty matchup, the first pitch to Wynn. Strike, 4-seam fastball down Broadway at the knees. The count is 0-1. That pitch came in at 91 miles an hour. And is there a challenge here? Yes, there is. The Cardinals challenge it. Mason Wynn, he challenged the call of a ball, but the call is confirmed it was a strike. So the Cardinals have no ABS challenges remaining with the failed challenge there by Mason Wynn in the box. And it's an 0-1 count. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Mason Wynn. Jord Bolo in Cards We Trust. Beautiful. Now the 0-1. A slider away and out of the zone. The count is 1-1. Back into the saddle is Wynn. Coming winds Gordon. He deals. A 4-seam fastball downstairs. 93 miles an hour. The count is 2-1. But I was talking about this a bit the other night. And I'll get to the point in a moment here after the pitch. Winding is Gordon. The pitch. Fouled straight back on the 4-seam fastball down Broadway. The count's even at 2-2. Is that Mason Wynn, especially in the last couple of weeks, has been so much smarter on the base paths. How many advances on sac flies has he got that very few other people in the league would ever attempt? Now the 2-2 pitch. A 4-seam fastball up and away, ruled a ball. The count is 3-2. It's been really impressive to watch, and so many of the Cardinals have followed suit. On deck is Church. Now the 3-2 offering. Hit on up the middle and into center field for a base hit off the bat of Mason Wynn. And he has himself a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Cards are in business. Runner on first, nobody out. All tied at 4, bottom 8. Now, here is Nate Church. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Wynn takes a very generous lead off first. Come in sets Gordon. He deals the first pitch. A slider upstairs, it's ruled a ball. Even though I'd say 75% of that time that location was called a strike today, the count is 1-0. A single, a strikeout, and a foul out. Third baseman is up against the grabs. He throws over to first, back in time, just in time as Mason win with the head first slide. And of course, with the lefty Church, there's a modified shift with the hope of a double play with less than 2 outs to be sure. Now he comes set and deals. Fouled straight back. Hits just above the LED Deerbergs advertisement. And the count is 1-1. Stepping out of the box briefly is Church. So are you a Schnooks fan or a Deerbergs fan? Talk about off topic. However, the advertisement for Deerbergs is there. All right. Nate Church is back in the saddle. Leading off first is Mason Wynn with nobody out. Coming set is Gordon. The pitch. Hit out there into left field and in for a base hit. So a single to left, serve the opposite way off the bat of Nate Church, and the Cardinals have runners on first and second with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, we are all tied at 4. Due up here is Jose Fermin, who's 0 for 3. And then after him, the lefty Brian Torres, who is also 1 for 3. Now, come in set. The first pitch, he shows bunt, and it goes down the left field line. He bunts it perfectly, picked up by Gordon. He throws to first, and he gets Fermin going down the line for the first out of the inning. An outstanding sacrifice bunt there between the third baseline and the mound, and runners are now on second and third with 1 out. Fermin totally caught them on their heels. He couldn't have rolled that out better. And the Cardinals are in business now with 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 out. And here's the lefty Brian Torres, 1 for 3 this afternoon. They're looking at something, and I have no idea what it is. And we have ourselves a mound visit here. So a little powwow on the mound between Sullivan, Gordon, and the Rockies pitching coach. 45 pitches so far for Gordon. For those of you that love small ball, that was small ball executed masterfully. Masterfully. So, they're out there whispering sweet nothings into Gordon's ears. Did everybody enjoy their weekend? How was your Saturday? We didn't see each other yesterday. All right, the infield breaks up the Mutual Admiration Society on the mound for Colorado. Now, here comes Brian Torres. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. 45 pitches so far for Gordon, which I find an interesting choice to say the least. A single, a ground out, and a strikeout singing for Brian. Alan, that's right. I wish you it on Friday night, and I'll wish it to you again. Happy birthday. Rockies infield playing right up against the lip of the grass in the infield. Now the first pitch. Strike. Change up on the outside quarter below the belt. The count is 0-1. Once again, by bringing the infield in on a ground ball right to him, they can cut down Mason Wynn coming home. But they don't have much time to react if it's away from them. The pitch. Fouled back on the changeup. Up and in behind home plate. The count is 0-2. So it gives them a great opportunity, considering there's no force at home at the moment, to make that throw if it's right at him. But boy, if it's not, the average goes up well higher. Gordon sets. The 0-2 to Torres. Swinging strike 3 on the changeup, down and away for the second out of the inning. So 3 pitches there. Down goes Torres. And that was just a brilliantly executed circle change. There's just, he pulled it off. All right, now we have ourselves a pitching change here, folks. He's going to the pen. He's going to Romano. So we have ourselves a pitching change. All tied at 4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Runners on second and third with 2 out. And, of course, due up here is J.J. Wetherall. But we have a pause in the action. In fact, they're actually going to the 30-year-old left-hander, Parker Mashinsky. In 3 games this year, he's 1-0 with an ERA of exactly 0. 3 1/3 innings pitched, no strikeouts in that time, a whip of 1.20. In his major league career in 34 games, he's 1-0 with a 4.95 ERA, 36 1/3 innings pitched, 26 strikeouts in that span, a whip of 1.40. He was actually drafted in the 7th round, 211th overall in 2017 by the Houston Astros, a product of Texas Tech. So we have the lefty coming in to face one of the foremost lefties in this lineup in the bat of J.J. Wetherall, who is 1 for 2 with a run scored. This pitching change is brought to you by Steve's Hot Dogs. Try the Paul D. Triple Tornado Chili Cheese Explosion Dog today. Yeah, I was just there on Friday. Not the one in Tower Grove, the one in Chesterfield. Very tasty. Very tasty. Highly recommended. All right, here is the lefty Mashinsky. Gave you his numbers just a moment ago. A very brief major league career. It's going to be a lefty-lefty matchup here against J.J. Wetherall, who's 1 for 2 with a run scored and a couple of walks. Marching very slowly into the box is Wetherall. Runners on second and third with 2 out. We're all tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 8th. Mashinsky looks into Sullivan. He sets above his belt. Now the first pitch to Wetherall. There's a fly ball out into center field. Going back is the center fielder at the track looking up, and it's over his head, and it hits the base of the ball. Both runs will score. Coming around second, going into third is J.J. Wetherall, and he has himself a 2-out, 2 RBI triple here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, J.J., a bat for all seasons, Wetherall, and the Cardinals have a 6-4 lead on the very first pitch from Mashinsky. It was middle, and it very nearly went out of the park. It was just to the left of the Bank of America sign, just under the grassy knoll in center. RBI 2-out triple, a 2 RBI triple, 6-4, J.J. Wetherall. Now here is Ivan Herrera. He'll be a lefty-righty matchup. 6-4 Cardinals. The stalemate has been broken. That probably means we are seeing Riley O'Brien. Now come in set. The first pitch from Mashinsky. A cutter away, ruled the ball. The count is 1-0. Yeah, that was just music, folks. He sets the 1-0. A cutter inside ruled a ball, being challenged there by the catcher Sullivan for Colorado. So ABS challenge incoming. It's initially ruled a ball. Let's see. Survey says it's a strike. So the call is overturned, and it is now a 1-1 count. Nothing but zone on that one. Looking in is Mashinsky. He sets at the letters. Now the 1-1 pitch. A curveball down and in and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. You know, it's only appropriate that J.J. Wetherall would do that after we praised him so much. The kid is comfortable in his own skin. He knows what he can do. Mashinsky winds and deals. A four-seam fastball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 3-1 to Ivan Herrera. Ivan Herrera is 3 for 4 this afternoon, folks. This guy has really been heating up in the last couple of weeks. It started back in the Red Series. That's when we began seeing him come alive, maybe even as early as the Cubs. Now the 3-1. Head out there into left field and in for a base hit. Coming in, scoring is J.J. Wetherall. And that will give the Cardinals a 7-4 lead on the RBI 2-out single by Ivan Herrera. Ivan the Terrible is cooking a serious brew there, getting a little bit of insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. How about Ivan the Terrible there, huh? Jeff Coleman with the $5 super. Here's Alec Burleson. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. He's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch. Hit to the right side. Picked up by Castro on his right on the ground. He throws to first in time to get him. However, the Cardinals break the stalemate. 3 runs and 1 left on. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It's a 7-4 Cardinal lead over the ROX here in the rubber match at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis on the western banks of the mighty Mississippi. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. 7-4 Cardinals going top of 9. They're just playing looser. They're just playing looser. Now, due up for the Rockies in the top of the 9th. They're back right to the top of the order. Yeah, the demon himself, McCarthy, Carrick, and Rumfield. So 1, 2, 3 in the Rocky order. I'm virtually certain Riley O'Brien's going to be pitching here. I don't see it yet, but it's probably happening. John Wilms, hi from John in Wentzville. Cheers, Wentzville, Missouri. Just trying to get your dinners going. We all love you guys. Absolutely. Well, a 3 spot to answer that solo home run that tied the game by Hunter Goodman in the top of the 8th. J.J. Weatherall on the very first pitch from Mashinsky, who was brought in specifically to face him. It lands about 400 feet away at the base of the wall, just to the left of the Bank of America sign out there. So let's see here. What are we doing? Riley O'Brien, 2026 NL All-Star. 31-year-old right-hander in 47 games this year. He's 3-4 with a 3.28 ERA, 46 2/3 innings pitched, 48 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.18. Really something there. He has 28 saves in 33 opportunities. We'll see where we go. So here's Riley O'Brien. He's going to face McCarthy. Righty-righty matchup, the first pitch. Squib foul, rolls over towards the Rocky on deck circle. The count is 0-1. Looking in as O'Brien, it's a 7-4 Cardinal lead, and time is granted by the home plate umpire to McCarthy. This pitching change is brought to you by Panera Bread. Go visit Jeff at Mid-Rivers Mall off I-70 Veterans Memorial. Here's the pitch. Hit out there into left field. Charging in is Torres, who gets it on the line for the first out of the inning. So McCarthy, Pereira, who they just picked up after the White Sox DFA'd him and then DFA'd Nelson Velasquez. He is now out in left field. He makes the catch on a line for the first out of the inning. Riley O'Brien gave you his numbers just a moment ago. Nobody on, 1 out, top of the 9th inning, 7-4 Redbirds. O'Brien comes set. The first pitch to Carrick. A sinker away, ruled the ball. The count is 1-0. That one came in at 99 miles an hour out of the right hand of O'Brien. Righty-lefty matchup against the lefty hitting Carrick, who's 1 for 2 this afternoon. 7-4 Cardinals here in the top of the 9th inning. And the 1-0. Strike, sinker, down and in. The count is 1-1, 97 miles an hour. And Jeff with the $1 super. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. O'Brien sets the 1-1 pitch. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone. The count is 2-1. Yeah, Jeff is making it rain up in here, isn't he? Colt Carrick, couple of walks, a single, and a strikeout. It's a 2-1 count. Coming sets O'Brien. He deals. Hit on up the middle, picked up by Weatherall. Faller to his left. He throws to first in time. Oh, what an incredible play by J.J. Weatherall. He was playing back against the outfield grass while still in the infield. Had to range at least 8 or 9 feet to his right. Threw across his body, momentum completely going the other way. Online and beats him to the bag for the second out of the inning. Pereira is out in left, Edgar. I don't know who you are, Big Pig, but what a play. And they keep showing the replay here. Did Burleson keep his foot on the bag? Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. He's definitely out there at first. But the play is under review, and the call is confirmed, and it is the second out of the inning. That play was challenged, and it took them all of 15 seconds to look at and say, yep, he was out. Oh, he's been blocked, Richard. I don't play games with people like that. Now, here is the first baseman, Rumfeld. Righty-lefty matchup. Everyone on their feet at Busch. The pitch. A sweeper down and in and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. He was trolling us, talking about how it's illegal to retransmit Major League Baseball. We're not using any of their media. The 1-0 pitch. Hit out there into left field. Pereira going over the line. He makes a head diving catch for the third and final out of the inning. And 7-4 Cardinals is your final. They take 2 of 3 from the Colorado Rockies here at Busch Stadium in this 3-game weekend set. And you know what that means with a 7-4 Redbird victory over the ROX. It is time for the victory tune. 7-4 is your final. Player of the game, J.J. Weatherall. Oh, yes. Play your air guitars. "7-4 Redbirds is your final. They take 2 of 3 from the ROX at Busch. And this is the second series in a row that they have won. They are playing looser. They are playing smarter. They are clearly more relaxed than they had been prior to August 3rd. And it's a wonderful thing to see. 7-4 Redbirds is your final over Colorado. George Soriano gets the win. He improves to 5-3. Gordon takes the loss. He falls to 0-3. Riley O'Brien picks up his 29th save. The Cardinals improve to 59-59, so they're back at 500. Colorado falls to 46-72, and that's the story there. Tomorrow night, the Cardinals are going to welcome the Philadelphia Phillies into Busch for an early week 3-game set. That game tomorrow, scheduled first pitch, is 6:45 p.m. Central Time. I will be live here on Game Mike at 6:35 p.m. Central Time. So the first of 3 against the Phillies starting tomorrow night at Busch. There is a 6:45 p.m. scheduled first pitch at Busch for Phillies v. Cardinals. And I'll be here on Game Mike with the play-by-play live stream at 6:35 p.m. Central Time. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me on part of your afternoon here on Game Mike. Hanging with me there in the early going. Some of the difficulties of trying to call this on the road, but I am quite dedicated to doing so. And let's go to this chat. Jord Polo, now we can enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you for today, Paul. You're the man. Already at 1,300 subs. We crossed it today? Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations, man. Already paving the way to 1.5. Justin Beasley, have a good evening, chat. See you all tomorrow. Go Birds. Richard, wonderful call. Good game. Your voice was made for radio, calling Paul D. I'm glad you think so, Richard. I'm glad you think so. Heather, Paul, that game was just under 3 hours. Yeah, it's like the old days, Heather. Jeff Coleman, time to end it, y'all. Thurman, Paul needs a trophy for his skills. Hey, all I'm saying is that if somebody out there got the big idea to make a plaque for me for Rookie of the Year broadcaster on YouTube, I can assure you it would have a place of honor in frame, when I'm in studio, obviously, for everyone to see between now and the heat death of the universe, is all Paul is saying. Cat Snow, have an awesome day, Paul, JB, and everyone. Take care of Philly. I really hope they do. Harold Houseman, great call, Paul. Always making fun, guys. Thanks, and hope to see you all for the Philly series. You take care of yourself there, Harold. Jeff, best call, St. Louis Cardinals equals Paul Day. You guys are just too grateful, too cool. You're very welcome, JoJo Spades, and thank you for that super chat earlier. Very, very generous. All guitars, Cat Snow. That's the victory tune. Great call, Paul. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. So a 7-4 Cardinal victory over the Rockies. They take 2 of 3 in this weekend series at Busch. We'll be back tomorrow night at 6:35 p.m. Central Time for the play-by-play live stream here on Game Mike for the first game of Philly Cardinals from Busch, scheduled for 6:45 p.m. Central Time first pitch. Bombers Game Mike, over and out. Be well, both you and yours, wherever you may be. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow night, y'all.